Two-Day-National Conference on Contemporary Issues in Management, Commerce and Economics themed Disruption and Sustainability under the New Normal. I am truly delighted to mark this inaugural ceremony organized by Dr. S.C. Gulane, Prerna College of Commerce, Science and Arts, Nagpur. This conference serves as a platform for the exchange of ideas, insights, and perspectives on the challenges and the opportunities that the modern world presents to the field of management, economics, and commerce. A very special welcome to our chief guest, Dr. Devendra Kumar Arora from Delhi, NCR, India. I also welcome Dr. S.C. Gulane, Secretary Prerna Seva Mandal, Dr. Praveen Joshi, Director, Dr. S.C. Gulane, Prerna College of Commerce, Science and Arts, Ms. Abhinasha Gurde, CEO, Prerna Seva Mandal, Ms. Aarti Goswami, HR, Prerna Seva Mandal, Dr. Leeladhar Revatkar, officiating principal of our college, and Dr. Ashish Gupta, head of Commerce and Management Department, and to all the faculty members and to all my dearly scholars present here. In today's dynamic environment where change is the only constant, it is imperative that we address the key issues of disruption and sustainability. The disruption brought about by technological advancements, global events, and evolution market dynamics have necessitated a re-evaluation of traditional approaches. While sustainability has emerged as a central concern to ensure a harmonious coexistence of economic growth, social responsibility, and environmental well being, our conference aims to dwell into these critical aspects and provide a roadmap for thriving in this new normal. At this juncture, we are delighted to have with us a distinguished personalities who will grace the occasion with their insights and wisdom. Without further ado, let's begin with the inaugural proceedings. I request Dr. Praveen Joshi to present an introductory remark. Over to you, sir.
Good morning, everybody. It's a great pleasure to hear my dear friend, Dr. Devendra Kumarji Arora, with me on my invitation, one single line invitation to grace this occasion of the conference being organized by Dr. S.C. Gulane, Prerna College of Commerce, Science and Arts, Nagpur. I also welcome my dear friend, my elder brother, Dr. S.C. Gulane, the Secretary, Prerna Seva Mandal, the CEO, Abhilasha, the Principal, Dr. Revatkar, HOD, Department of Commerce and Management, Dr. Ashish Gupta, and participants. Organizing any conference is for the deliberations on the burning academic topics which require a kind of churning so that something meaningful, something useful comes up. And if there are problems, solutions can be found out. All of us know very well that COVID-19 had spread its jaws along the globe, in every corner of the globe, and almost every country suffered a lot socially, health-wise, and more so economically. The entire economic fiber of the whole world had been torn into pieces, and no economy of no country was during that period on the right track. The same was the situation about marketing, management field, industry, commerce, trade, and business. Exact 3 years, the whole world has suffered. But now, after the COVID-19 has subsided to a large extent, I think we are coming back on the right track. The world has been making all possible efforts to overcome the situation that it had faced during last 3 years. As far as India is concerned, the economy of India has got that resilience. And therefore, during COVID also, our economy sustained to a great extent. Of course, there were losses, there were ups and downs, more downs, but still, today I find our economy on the right track, and it's not only walking, it's running now. We have recorded the growth, the GDP growth of about 9.5, and we are outperformed almost every country as far as GDP is concerned. So this rebouncing has become possible only because of the resilience that our economy holds to deliberate over all such issues which have come up after the disruption caused by COVID-19. This college has organized the conference which will discuss almost all the issues related to commerce, management, and economics. For this, we have an expert with us, Sri Devendraji Arora, who is a friend of mine from Delhi and who is the director of Poddar Business School. He has vast experience as far as the field of commerce and management and economics is concerned. I extend a warm welcome to all the delegates also, and wishing you all the best. I put an end to my words. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir, for your enthusiastic remark. As it is said, well beginning is half done, and this introductory start has set the frame of the conference. Thank you so much, sir. Friends, it is a great honor to introduce our esteemed chief guest for today's inaugural ceremony, Dr. Devendra Kumar Arora, a distinguished personality who brings a remarkable blend of experience and expertise. With 25 years in academia and 4 years in industry, his journey reflects a profound commitment to learning and leadership. An academic stalwart, Dr. Devendra Kumar holds PhD in International Business from CPIB IIM Calcutta and has enriched knowledge through a leadership skill program at IIM Ahmedabad. His influence as management professor, director, and dean at esteemed institutions like MIET Group, MET, and local university has been transformative. Beyond the classroom, he is a mentor to startups, a published author, and a dynamic speaker at prestigious conferences such as Associated Chamber of Commerce and Industry of India and Federation of Indian Chamber of Commerce Industry. His contributions span wide-ranging domains. He is the visionary founder president of the Sport Academy Association of India, an endeavor he has copyrighted and has earned acclaim for curriculum development in sports management. His thought leadership extend to participation in forums like G20 and Y20, where he shapes national policies. His extensive copyrights, including pioneering work in sports management curriculum and impactful titles like The 21st Century Management Education, reflect his visionary mindset and commitment to pushing boundaries. His dedication to innovation is mirrored in his teaching methodologies, employing tools like case studies, sports, and management movies to instill practical knowledge. In addition to his remarkable academic achievements, his active involvement in various industry associations, including Education Promotion Society of India, AICTE, and CMAI, showcase his commitment to shaping the future of education. His impact reaches government institutions as well, where he conducts sessions for entities like the Ministry of Health and Police, training institutions. His dedication during the pandemic shines through as he organizes and delivers numerous webinars guiding us through the challenges of the new normal. We find a trailblazer personality whose passion for education, leadership, and innovation has not only enriched the academic landscape but has also shaped the very fabric of tomorrow. We are truly privileged to have Dr. Devendra Kumar Arora here today to share his insights and inaugurate this conference.
Thank you very much. And as per the our rituals, that's let us the conference start. And now I'm very happy and glad to be a guest here because first we are an academician, so academicians are always be humble and they work with the heart. They don't have mind, so they never mind whatever the people society told for the teachers or professor. He's a sun key. I think you understand psycho. So we are happy to listen because only sun key can make a history. Example, Einstein is there and so many others history makers are there. The first of all, I would convey my heartful thanks to Prerna, means inspiration. And once we want to start something, we need a Prerna. The name of your Seva Mandal, I namaskar and naman to the Prerna Mandal, the all family member of Prerna Mandal. And when we inspire, we able to start. We inspire and able to start, we need some abhilasha. What we have to do that. And for the fulfill that abhilasha, we have to start a work. We should be a saksham. So Sakshi is with us. And ultimately, once we are doing everything, you can learn the world in Mahabharata or any cricket, sports, everywhere. Sachin is Praveen in his batting. So every work, everything I am able to line up, can they make up. The once you have Prerna, you have Lesha with you, you have Saksham, everybody, then you get a Parveen in your work. And entire you can listen is a very important Josh to complete the every work. You have to be have a Josh with you. So Joshi sir is with us. So everybody with my folded hand, namaskar to everybody. And you are from the land uh, uh, of Heidegger, is the founder of RSS. Once again, Naman, because they are a real fighter without guns and sword. They've give us a true freedom to entire India. And now everybody enjoyed jam on everywhere. But now I can drive from Delhi to Mumbai, very funny, enjoying, and I'm taking a name of our Honorable Transport Minister, Nitin Gadkari. So the Naman of this land of Shivaji, Nagpur, ultimate, have a big history. So Jai Maharashtra to everyone. And here I heard the words, the change. Change, as Sakshi told, change is only constant. Then I use in so many lines in my sessions with the corporate people, with the Ministry of Government people. So I said, because especially the government people, change, the one word, is a very important. So change, with that change you can survive. But important is change before the change, then you can win the world. So ultimately, change is very important in our life. And one more thing which I share with the world of change, because I feel I got a topic of change and contemporary, very many things in the commerce and our business. So change the things which we cannot accept, and accept the things which we cannot change. So this is the line for the life to each and every, maybe a student, scholar, corporate people, even then our honorable Prime Minister, honorable all minister and true leader. I'm talking about honorable true leaders. So they did something different to make a change. They are a reformer. Our honorable President Draupadi Murmu ji, she is a transformer. She was teacher. So we can see how the life can change one, only 4 5 true people become a leader of the country. True leader. Talking always about I use the term true leader, not only leader, true leader, teacher, true teacher, coach, true coach. Mean to say, even then, out of 1 million, there is a one true person is there. He will stand for his commitment. He always stand with the truth. So ultimate, we said only one truth. We can take the example, our land, our sky, then everywhere it says only a one superpower. So one is ultimate. So world start with the one, and we will end with the one. So this is a things and life. As you said that I have a copyright. So one more thing, I did taking the sessions on manage always stress and time, which is a very important for all of us. And truly, I am very much impressed with the theme of this conference, contemporary issue in commerce and management. So there are drastic changes comes in our economics and commerce. Recently I am working on the environment, society and governance, ESG. I think I completed my program in 2013 in I am Kolkata. So on that year they started ESG. And nowadays, after more than 11 years, then I met with some of the people, those are working on the ESG, because waste management is very important. They said environment is economy. They give a word. Environment is a economy. Ye said ki everything is nearby. If we need any raw material, we can take from the environment. And we use the economics in use terms land, labor, capital, and entrepreneur. So none of the single goods can be produced without help of land. Either the inner part of minerals, upper part, even then we want to make a oxygen cylinder, so we need a oxygen. Most of the hilly areas, so many oxygen plants are there. So during delivery of talk in the economics, I use the land is a Bhagwan. We use terms Bhagwan. Everybody knows our body is made with the 5 factors. So that Bhagwan is everywhere. We said it is pervasive around the world, either in me, in you, everywhere. So what is the Bhagwan? I use a terminology in land, labor, capital, entrepreneur. So Bha is called the Bhumi, means land. And Ga for Gagan means sky. And Va for Vayu is a air. A for Agan is a fire. And N for Nagpur, Neer. I'm very much created with So it's a Bhagwan. So Bhagwan is everywhere. Only Sanatani can prove this. So you are living because you have a Bhagwan with you. Those people knows the ISKCON society. I think Prabhupada in 1976, he lived his Bhagwan on the earth and his of that beautiful soul. And today you can see how he ruled entire the world. You are a witness. This is not a history. It is a present. Now more than 180 countries have their SCON. They are Jap Mantra of the Hare Krishna. So what exactly what we able to give to the Samasti? They're the Srashti and Samasti. So it's Srashti, it's a nature, and Samasti is the universe. And hats off to all woman power of for who's sending the Chandrayaan 3. So many more things. It's called the paradigm shift. Whatever we can add it in commerce and management, each and everything added with the commerce and management, none of things can be survived, walk or run. As Dr. Joshi told, we are not walking, we are running now. So today we are the third best, third powerful economy in the world. This is what people, the world able to see just a 10% of our asset. Rest of 90% you can find out in any temple or find out any a big businessman. So 90% we are the inside of the land and only 10% people can see it. It's a true, 100% true. So we have to work out in for the youth. Youth can work out on the environment, society and governance. There is so many things are available, so many earning opportunities are there, and people are talking about the carbon credit. If we have a good land back in our campus, we can produce the trees which produce the oxygen. And so many agency, government authorized agency, they give us the carbon credit certificate, and that carbon credit certificate is in the trade now. So many more things for the youth is new things come. We talk about the entrepreneurship, we talk about the startup. Now some of my students started the cloud kitchen. They take up help of their mother and their neighbors. So cloud kitchen, they can make a kitchen at their home, and with the help of the IT, information technology, then they can make their healthy guide. Now no need to think about it was the history. It is the present. We can see the example of Swiggy, Zomato. These are the example. Ola, Uber, example, not history. Because sometime our young generation told, oh, in those days, 1940, 200 year, there's a blah, blah, blah situation is favorable for you. Situation never favorable for us. We have to make situation favorable for us. So ultimately, we talk about the change, acceptance, environment, society, and governance. And one more thing, which we recently start, even then already it is work on the everywhere in India and everywhere in the world, learning management tools from Indian scriptures. We can able to learn the management tools from Indian scripture. Even then, if we read about the economics of the Chanakya, we can read even in Gita, Mahabharata, Ramayana, so many management tools. If you heard about the Kumar Vishwas, he is talk about the Ramayana. So ultimate India already produced so many case studies in terms of our scriptures, in terms of our Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita is always talk about, we said, the manual of life. Whatever you can learn from Bhagavad Gita, manual of life. So here, even then we talk about the our Indian scriptures. I am able to talk about the Bollywood, Hollywood. So these also gave us the source of inspiration to all of our students and all of management learner. I use the term management learner. We heard about that movie Ford versus Ferrari. Ford versus Ferrari movie. There we can able to learn the management concept, conflict management, and failure management. You people, I have a case study which I have a copyright on it, and they also learn the technological challenges. So how a Ferrari won the race in Milan from Ford in 1965, then the top management of Ford decided that we do not want to invest more money into this project. Now from last 10 years we are continue doing the hard work, and we are able to come only third place. Then who was the project manager? He started to manage how to manage the conflict, because the other peoples are going to down them, but he stand on his commitment. He said the president of Ferrari, he nowadays he's have a sleepless night because he observed the Ford from last 10 years. The 10 year before, the Ford was on the 10th or 20th position. In continues upgrading the technique, he comes on the third position. Then he's worried about this. He's worried about this. I think the coming session or coming competition, Ford will comes on the one, and you can see them in the movie. Then he again convinced to the President Ford to invest more than $1 lakh on those time in 1956 to invest in this project, and he's agree for that. So ultimately, so many things we can learn in a different mode, different way, in interesting mode, innovative mode. We can learn this. Once we see the movie of the Happy New Year, this is a Shah Rukh Khan movie. Here we can find out the 14 principle of Henry Ford. So many more things we can make our studies so many creative. Entrepreneurship development itself, it is a big example. We can talk about the startup for the student. We always motivate to student, and government have a plenty of schemes for the startup new generation. The scheme name is Tarun Kishore. So this kind of name of schemes, we go for the website of the government of India. So ultimately many more things are there. Yes. So Nali, you raise the hand. Yes, just take out the Sakshi, what you want to say. So the many more things we have in our life which we can be implement in our execution. Planning, we can talk. Everybody is going for the planning. So what next after the planning? The question come, it's a POSDC, planning and organizing. But we Indian create a new things. After planning, what we executive need, we team leader need, being a director, being a head of the department, what we need, we make a plan everywhere. In the industry, the manager, team leader, they make a plan. What next we need? So generally we talk about what the foreigners wrote, the planning, organizing, staffing, directing and controlling. But we Indian give the different thought on it. I give the thought, after planning, everybody go for the approval. It's yes, it's true. We want approval from our the top authority, financial approval and execution approval. After getting the approval, we start execution. After the execution, we get result and we have to report to the top management. It's a PAER. So whatever the concept, we have to make them base or foundation, and we have to use our mind. Indian mind is stronger in the world. But we are not good follower of our Indian professors. We have to take the name of our Indian professor. Just I take the name of Rajan Saxena, is a professor of marketing. Many more things. I have Professor Joshi in Ahmedabad. You can see his profile. Very simple and humble, but have a very different thought. So this is the duty of our young generation, you and me. Then we have to promote Sakshi Shivhare. We have to promote our other professors. Those are working different because we know the ground reality of India. We knows. Nobody knows. Sometimes I am so surprised when McKinsey makes a report on how to make a strategy for the potters of India. It's a big fun, big joke. Because you and me enjoy that earthenware pot, tea in a cooler. Everybody. We can understand their real values. We saw them in the villages. So we have to make something different. My wishes to the Dr. S.C. Gulhane and Dr. Prashant Mehra, I am able to see. And apart from other speakers, very good and big speakers, and you see in e-commerce, you find out the new young blood. They knows much more better than us, and we have to accept it. We have to learn. Dr. Praveen Joshi can learn from his grandson or granddaughter. No harm. We are happy to learn. We enjoy it. So learning, we make the learning as a passion. If we want to make something different, learning is a passion. I give the punchline to my organization always. Be a learner, be a listener. As Sundar Pichai, he makes a Google best leap organization. He said listening and learning. Enjoy your work. E. A. Authentic. Whatever you're saying on behalf of your organization, be authentic, be firm, and P for the performance. Leap. So he said that everybody should be ready to listen and learn. First, they start listen because God gave us 2 ears. The law of nature. Listen twice, then speak. This is the law of nature. We can take it. So listen, learn, and be enjoy your work. Enjoyment is also there, and we have to be authentic. What we are going to talk or tell about the organization, and P for performance, because everything is not goody goody. We need to be perform well. So every organization has to go ahead on there, and many more things are there. But my billions of wishes and congratulations to entire team of Prerna Seva Mandal. What is the beautiful name you give this PSM? Prerna means inspiration and Seva means serve. And automatically Mandal is a part of the unity. Big naman to everybody and wishes to everyone. So nice of you. Thanks to give me opportunity. And you all are most welcome in Delhi. And I have a 1 foot in Delhi and 1 foot in Jaipur. So Jaipur is a history, as a big history. So you are all are most welcome. I'm happy to host you, happy to give you a good welcome. So thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. It's really, pleasure listening to you and learning so many things from you. The vastness of your knowledge really impressed me a lot. Yes, Sakshi?
Yes, sir.
Please
Thank you
continue.
so much, sir. Your greatness has been seen from the start of your talk. The way you have amazingly related everything with motivational words which boost up our enthusiasm. Your words have set the tone for this conference, and your wisdom will undoubtedly guide us as we navigate the discussion ahead. I extend a sincere gratitude for sharing your knowledge us with today. Your presence has elevated this event, and we are deeply appreciative for your time and your contributions. Sir, your talk was really cheerful. Thank you so much, sir. Now, I would like to introduce our esteemed chairperson for today's event, Dr. S.C. Gulhane, the Secretary of Prerna Seva Mandal. Sir is a distinguished figure in the field of education, known for their exceptional contribution towards the education of the society. Their commitment to educate to each and every individual of the society has made a lasting impact on our community. We are privileged to have Dr. S. Kulane with us today to share his thoughts and insights. Over to you, sir.
Sir, shall I take permission?
Yes, sir. Yes.
So nice of you. So nice of you. Welcome. Namaskar, sir. Namaskar.
सभी को नमस्कार. आदरणीय प्रमुख अतिथि डॉक्टर देवेंद्र अरोरा जी, बीज भाषण अतिथि डॉक्टर प्रशांत मेहता जी, मेरे परम मित्र और छोटे भाई प्रेरणा कॉलेज के डायरेक्टर डॉक्टर प्रवीण जोशी सर, प्रेरणा सेवा मंडल की चीफ एग्जीक्यूटिव ऑफिसर अभिलाषा गुर्दे, प्रेरणा सेवा मंडल की एचआर आरती गोस्वामी, कार्यकारी प्राचार्य डॉक्टर लीलाधर रेवतकर, एचओडी आशीष गुप्ता और सभी सहभागी, प्रेरणा कॉलेज के वाणिज्य तथा व्यवस्थापन विभाग को मैं इस अवसर पर बधाई देता हूं कि उन्होंने एक अतिशय महत्वपूर्ण विषय पर इस संगोष्ठी का आयोजन किया है। विकास के मार्ग पर जब संसार के सभी देश अग्रसर होकर समृद्ध बनने के प्रयासों में जुटे हुए थे, ऐसे वक्त कोविड इस महामारी ने संपूर्ण विश्व को व्यापित करके लगभग 3 वर्ष तक विकास के गतिशील कार्य में बाधाएं उत्पन्न करके संकल्पित कार्य की पूर्ति करने वाले प्रतिज्ञाओं की दिशा बदलकर विकास के गति में अवरोध निर्माण किया था। इस कारणवश न केवल छोटे देश किंतु महाशक्तियों को भी लाचार होकर अपने विकास योजनाओं का त्याग करके संपूर्ण लक्ष्य कोविड के प्रभाव को रोकने में और उससे मुक्ति पाने में केंद्रित करना पड़ा था। परंतु जटिल से जटिल समस्याओं पर मात करने वाले मानवीय मनोबल को तोड़ना यह कोविड के लिए भी संभव नहीं हो पाया। मानव ने अपने बुद्धि से तथा वैद्यकीय शास्त्र की मदद से कोविड को भी पराजित किया और फिर से विकास कार्यों पर ध्यान केंद्रित करके अर्थव्यवस्था को प्रभावशाली बनाने के प्रयास फिर से एक बार शुरू किए। आज हमारा भारत देश भी कोविड पर विजय पाकर उसे इतिहास के पन्नों में जोड़कर वर्तमान स्थिति में अपनी अर्थव्यवस्था पुनर्स्थापित करने की भरपूर कोशिश में लगा हुआ है। कोविड ने हमें अति उत्तम शिक्षा भी दी और हमें आत्मनिर्भर बनने का मंत्र भी दिया। कोविड पूर्व की परिस्थिति एवं कोविड के पश्चात की परिस्थिति में अभी बहुत अंतर दिखाई देता है। वाणिज्य व्यवस्थापन एवं अर्थशास्त्र के दृष्टि से ये दोनों कालावधि संशोधन के लिए एवं अभ्यास के लिए अति महत्वपूर्ण साबित हुए हैं। इसीलिए इस विषय पर आयोजित इस संगोष्ठी की प्रासंगिकता आज के संदर्भ में अति महत्वपूर्ण है। मैं उम्मीद करता हूं सभी संगोष्ठी के सहभागियों को इस संगोष्ठी का भरपूर लाभ मिलेगा एवं इस विषय के संदर्भ में अनुसंधान को प्रेरणा मिलेगी। सभी को एक बार शुभेच्छा देकर मैं मेरे 2 शब्द समाप्त करता हूं। नमस्कार।
Thank you so much, sir. Your guidance and leadership has provided a strong foundation for the discussion that will follow. Your insights have illuminated our path forward, and we are grateful for your presence and support. I express my sincere thanks for your invaluable contribution. Once again, thank you so much, sir. Before we proceed, let's take a moment to appreciate the significance of this event, a convergence of intellect, innovation, and inspiration. Over the next 2 days, we will navigate through a tapestry of discussions, keynote addresses, and interactive sessions that promise to reshape our understanding of challenges and opportunities presented by the new normal. First and foremost, I extend a sincere gratitude to our chief guest, Dr. Devendra Kumar Arora, for gracing this inaugural ceremony. With their presence and sharing their invaluable insights, your words have really set the tone for this conference, inspiring us to navigate the realms of disruption and sustainability with the purpose and vision. Thank you, sir. Dr. Resigulane, sir, for your insight address and for your continued dedication to advancing our fields. Your presence has truly enriched this conference inaugural ceremony. Our hearty appreciation goes out to Dr. Praveen Joshi, who has shed light on the significance of contribution towards the innovation and conscious decision making in new normal. Your guidance has been instrumental in shaping the discussion that followed. Ladies and gentlemen, let us embark on this 2-day journey of learning collaboration, and exploration with enthusiasm and curiosity. Your presence and participations are integral to the success of this gathering. Let us make the most of this opportunity to engage, learn, and shape the discourse surrounding contemporary issues in our disciplines. I, Sakshi, take your leave and invite Ms. Chandni Shahare ma'am for the keynote session. Thank you so much, everyone.
दिल्ली में आए तो मिलते हैं सर. Very soon we'll meet. Meet.
Thank you, Sakshi ma'am. A very good morning to all the dignitaries, learned delegates, and honorable resource person. On this pleasant day, I, Chandni Shahare, from the Department of Commerce and Management, take this privilege to warmly welcome you all in the keynote session of two-day National Conference on Contemporary Issues in Management, Commerce, and Economics, Disruptions and Sustainability under the New Normal. I welcome Honorable Dr. Prashant Mehta sir, Associate Professor, Symbiosis International, Deemed University, Noida, as a keynote speaker. Dr. Praveen Joshi sir, the Director of Dr. S.C. Gullane, Prerna College of Commerce, Science and Arts, and all the participants. Disruptions and sustainability are indeed key contemporary issues in the field of management, commerce, and economics, especially in the context of the new normal brought about by events like the COVID-19. Let's delve into each of these topics. Disruption refers to the significant changes in industries, markets, and business models that can lead to the displacement of established players by innovative newcomers. Sustainability involves conducting businesses in a way that consider long-term environmental, social, and economic impacts. The term new normal refers to the lasting changes in behavior, technology adoption, and economic dynamics that have emerged in the wake of major disruptive events like the COVID-19. This concept has implications across various domains. In conclusion, the convergence of disruption and sustainability in the new normal present both challenges and opportunities for organizations. Adapting to rapid changes, embracing technological advancement, and integrating sustainable practices into business strategies are crucial for long term success in the evolving landscape of management, commerce, and economics. With a view to focusing on all these and many other related aspects of impact of pandemic, our college has organized this national conference on contemporary issues in management, commerce, and economics, disruptions and sustainability under the new normal, in which we have eminent dignitaries with us today. We are lucky to have respected Dr. Prashant Mehta sir, a distinguished personality and an eminent keynote speaker, to enlighten us with his vast experience and knowledge on the topic workplace happiness for sustainability and growth. First, let me introduce our keynote speaker, respected Dr. Prashant Mehta. He is a renowned academician, administrator, and management guru. He has completed his PhD in management. He has 18 years of very rich experience in teaching, research, and administration, and his area of specialization is human resource management. He is a full time research scholar. Sir has published many research papers in international and national journals and also organized numerous conferences. I request Dr. Prashant Mehta sir to address the participants on the topic Workplace Happiness for Sustainability and Growth. Over to you, sir.
Okay, thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much for the introduction, for your kind words. And at the outset, I would first of all like to thank Dr. R.C. Kulhane, President, Prerna Seva Mandal, Dr. S.C. Kulhane, Secretary, Prerna Seva Mandal, Ms. Abhilasha, CEO of Prerna Seva Mandal, Dr. Praveen Joshi, Director of Prerna College, Professor Devendra Arora, Chief Guest, Dr. Leeladhar Revatkar, Officiating Principal of Prerna College, and Dr. Priyanka and Dr. Sonika for their tireless efforts in organizing this conference. Many congratulations to all of you for organizing such a conference, which is probably the need of the hour. Contemporary issues in management, commerce, and economics, disruption, and sustainability under new normal. When this proposal or when this uh, idea of came up, that the to speak on how to speak on happiness and then sustainability, it was kind of a challenge for me to frame how to club these two things together. One, happiness, and another one being sustainability. But then when I was going through certain articles, I came across interesting statistics, and those statistics, they revealed that uh, ordinarily in normal routine, around 1 to 5 species, they disappear in a year. That is considered normal. That 1 to 5 species, they will become extinct. But what caught my eye was that this rate now has reached 1,000 times more than the normal rate. That means somewhere around 5,000 species are disappearing in a year, uh, which is a challenge. Which is a challenge in the sense that this has not happened ever since the fifth, uh, uh, dark age, and this is fifth mass extinction, and this happens to be probably the sixth extinction that we are talking about, that we are heading into. And it is not something which is natural, or the nature will play any role into it. It is the humans, we, who's contributing towards this mass extinction. We as humans, because we have exploited our natural resources so mercilessly and so thoughtlessly, that we have reached a stage from where there is probably no coming back. It's a race which we cannot afford to lose. It's a race which definitely we will end up paying a heavy price, which is probably already visible. If you look around us, the floods that we have had in Delhi, the floods we have had in Uttarakhand or Himachal or Haryana, these are all manifestations of the merciless exploitation of natural resources. And when we say when we have to talk about sustainability, then what does actually sustainability means? And since this is a conference which relates with commerce and management, so let me take the management perspective. In case any transaction is happening, if we are buying and selling something, then let's suppose if I have to sell this pen, or if I have to buy this pen, then I'll be paying a price for it, and I'll get the pen for this. So the price will be the value that the buyer or the seller assigns to this pen. Same thing happens when we are taking things from the environment. We are taking something from the environment, and it is our duty to return it to the environment. But the problem is, in this case of pen, the value is assigned by money. But for environment, money has no value. So we have to give something back to the environment which is valuable to the environment. And this is probably is not happening. What we are doing is we extract something. Okay, we wanted energy, we extracted coal from the environment. So coal is becoming scarce. Now we are moving on to lithium. So we take our shopping bag, we go to one stall of the environment and we buy something. Not buy, we take something without paying the price, and then we move on to the next stall, we start looking for something, and once that get exhausted we move on to the next stall, and when that gets exhausted we move on to the next stall. And ultimately there will be a stage where environment will be talking about, or environment will be asking about the price uh, for the goods that we have taken from it, and we will have to pay the price, because nothing we all know, we are all students of economics and commerce and management. Nothing's come free, nothing comes free in life. So you have to pay the price, and either you pay it on your own, or there will come a time jab जो लेनदार है, he will put a pistol to your head and say, okay boss, you have taken enough of the things, now give it back, now it is my turn to take back the things. That is from the purely commercial point of view, or the commerce point of view that we do. There is another way to it, and the another way is our scriptures. Dr. Devendra Arora, he very rightly pointed out that there is so much into our scriptures, and since I am from Symbiosis, so the Symbiosis has the logo Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, that all earth is a family. So either we start accepting that all earth is a family, and just like we take care of our family members, we take care of all the resources as a family. Or there is the if you don't believe in that concept, then that the second concept that I just talked about, purely commercial, that you take something from the environment and you give it back. So either you treat environment as a family, or you treat environment as a business partner, as a stakeholder, and just like the business has the responsibility towards maximization of profit for the stakeholders, it also has the responsibility to give it back to the environment as a stakeholder. So it is very, very important for us to understand that we take environment as a stakeholder. If we don't do that, probably it will be too late before we realize how things are, how and how things are moving. No, this was basically how what is happening and how we see things. Coming back to the concept of happiness and how happiness can lead to sustainability, I would be moving in the direction of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, that is, all earth is a family, and that we need to take care of each other as a family member, and how individual happiness or how happiness in workplace will actually lead to sustainable development or sustainable growth. Let me share my screen, and in case somebody can tell me if my screen is visible. So my screen is visible.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay.
It's visible.
Thank you. So I'll be talking about that how workplace happiness, or happiness that people, when people are happy at work, how it can lead to sustainable growth and sustainable development. If you ask anyone why happiness, or if you ask anyone what is his or her goal in life, you only have to reach to the three whys. You only, I mean, let me take one example. So let's say you ask a entrepreneur that what is your what is it that you want. He will say that I want to grow a company. So why? Because I want to retire early. Why do you want to retire early? Because I can, so that I can spend time with my family. And then third why is, why do you want to spend time with family? Answer would be, because I want to be happy. Same if somebody is looking for a job or doing a job, I want a great job. So why do you want a great job? Because I want to make money. Why do you want to make money? So that I can buy a home. And why do you want to buy a home? Because so that I can be happy. Same with marriage, same with our health. So it is only a matter of three whys. You ask anyone a question related to why he is doing what he is doing, and ultimately it will boil down to that, the person wants to be happy. And if you look at these are some numbers. If you look at what these numbers indicate, is that people who are happy at work, they are more productive at work. And look at this number in 147% higher earnings per share. An organization where people are happy, the earnings per share is 147% more, 100 and more than 100%. And this itself should be a sounding board for the organizations, that why they should ensure that people are happy, uh, purely from the economics point of view. And then I'll also talk about purely from the sustainability point of view also. So these are certain figures that I compiled from the net. If you ask people what do you mean by happiness, and they'll say that happiness is the feeling of peace, calm, laughter, contentment, and so on. Let us probe a little further. Let us probe a little further. But is it that only positive feelings they evoke happiness? Let us suppose that you are walking on a lonely street. I mean, this is an example. During the night, and you come across someone who points something behind you and tells you that, give me whatever you have. And then suddenly, as you see a group of policemen approaching from the other side, and before you can turn back, the person has gone. So, would you call this happiness? In all probability, the answer would be no, this is not happiness, this is fear. And this is not happiness, this is fear. So that means fear is a negative emotion, but it is not unhappiness. So if fear is a negative emotion and it is not unhappiness, that means we can extend the same notion and come to the conclusion that positive emotions are not the cause of happiness. They do not lead to happiness. So, does this mean that laughing, smiling, these are not considered to be happiness? Uh, I have to ask you one more question, and uh, the question is, all the positive emotions like laughing, smiling, and contentment, are these expressions of happiness, or are these happiness in itself? And in all probability, I suppose everyone will say that these are the expressions of happiness. So what we are talking about, I mean, when we say that we are feeling peaceful, calm, contented, these are our expressions of happiness. This itself is not an happiness. So, and on top of that, if you look at it, these expressions of happiness also vary for individual to individual. किसी के लिए थोड़ी देर के लिए रहते हैं, किसी के लिए बहुत ज़्यादा देर तक रहते हैं. लेकिन after some times these expressions they fade. But is there a way that we can sustain these emotions forever, no matter what goes on in the world? Is it possible that we feel contented, we feel peaceful, we feel uh, uh, you know uh, happy over a sustained period, no matter what goes on in the world? Uh, it appears to be uh, too good to be true. But for the time being, let us assume that we can do it. Let us assume that it is possible for us to have those expressions of happiness over a longer period of time. And how we can have, or how we can prolong that feeling of contentment and peace, I'll try and explain, and that would probably also explain uh, how happiness can lead to sustainability. If we as individuals, if we plot a graph between positive emotions on day-to-day basis and future vision means that how I look at the future. What do I see in the future? A person who is experiencing low positive emotions daily and has a very little future about the vision about the future, he is living in this zone of survival. He is just about surviving. I mean, he is just about going through his life in a mundane manner. सिर्फ वो there is no creativity, there is no innovativeness. The person is usually annoyed, frustrated, uh, and he is not willing to try anything new. So this person is living in a survival mode. Then there are people who live in this quadrant, anxiety. People who are very much concerned about their future, and they are so concerned about their future that they forget about their present. That they do not experience positive emotions, or they experience very low positive emotions on day-to-day basis. And I am not sure that how many of you would have actually watched that movie, Three Idiots. But in case you have, then Sharman Joshi represents somebody who's who's living in this quadrant. He is always concerned about future. I need a job. I need a job. I need a job. अगर नौकरी नहीं मिलेगी तो बहन की शादी नहीं होगी, अगर बहन की शादी नहीं होगी तो घर में स्ट्रेस रहेगा, अगर नौकरी नहीं मिलेगी तो पापा का इलाज कैसे कराऊंगा, माँ को साड़ी कैसे लेके दूंगा. So they are always living in the future. They are not thinking, or they at the cost of future, they do not experience these positive emotions. And then there are people. Hello. Is there anything that I want? Okay. Somebody wanted to ask something. Hello.
Yes, anyone want to ask something to sir?
Somebody raised a hand. I know. I think it would have been by mistake.
Oh, yes, sir.
Yeah. And then we have people who are living in this quadrant, that is avoidance. And when I say people who are living in this quadrant, avoidance, they are people, they are experiencing positive emotions on day-to-day basis, lekin their thought about future is not there. They are not thinking about the future. So what kind of a lifestyle they have? They have a lifestyle of ओके, आज खुशी है तो पार्टी करते हैं, आज खुश नहीं हूँ तो पार्टी करते हैं, आज बॉस से लड़ाई हो गया तो लेट अस गो एंड हैव go for shopping. So what they do is they try and find pleasure in the moment without caring about what is going to happen in the future. So they are so much involved in the present that they don't care about the future. They are concerned about only, okay, this is and I momentary player is what they look at. If you can visualize, somebody jumps from a 30 floor building कि उसमें ना बहुत मजा आएगा. I mean, it will be so exciting, it will be thrilling to fall, I mean, to jump from 30 floor building. Okay, that is fine, so long as you do not, you are not bothered about कि गिरने के बाद क्या होगा. 30 माले से 29 माले तक गिरेंगे तो मजा तो आएगा, वो तो ठीक है, लेकिन उसके बाद क्या होगा, that is a problem. So these people, they live in that particular area, and to be honest, uh, probably what are economics and what are uh, management teaches us, they would rather like people to live in this area, in this quadrant, avoidance वाला quadrant में. अगर लोग यहाँ पर रहेंगे तो ही बिजनेस चलेगा. अगर लोग शॉपिंग नहीं करेंगे, अगर लोग डिस्टर्ब होंगे तो मूवी देखने नहीं जाएंगे, अगर डिस्टर्ब होंगे तो पार्टी नहीं करेंगे, अगर खुश होंगे पार्टी नहीं करेंगे, तो how will organizations drive consumption? Sorry, how will the society drives consumption? And ultimately, in economics, the uh, parameter of growth or development is GDP, gross domestic product. That is how much a country is producing. And if the country has to produce something, that means they have to consume something. And if they will be consuming only, then there will be production. So our economics, our philosophy teaches us that the parameter of growth is money. It is measured only in terms of money, and so long as it is being measured in terms of money, it will keep on living in this quadrant. However, if we have to ensure that the growth is sustainable, we should try and move towards this quadrant, which is a question mark, and it is called as, this is a quadrant where people are experiencing positive emotions on day-to-day basis, and they are concerned about the future too. So they are happy and they are concerned about the future too. So that means they will be not doing any activity which harms or which jeopardize their future. They will not do anything जिसकी वजह से future में problem होगी. And this quadrant is called as the quadrant of growth. And what it means when we talk about growth, I will use, I introduce two terms here. One is called as hedonic happiness, and hedonic happiness is that this concept was given by Aristippus, and what he said was that the ultimate aim of a human being should be to have pleasure and to avoid pain. So we will do or we will undertake activities which give us pleasure, and we will avoid those activities which gives us pain. So this is that what I am talking about is we are living in this zone of avoidance, we are living in this zone of avoidance, that we are only concerned uh, about the present and not about the future. And then there is the second concept, which is called as eudaimonic concept of happiness, which was given by Aristotle. And according to Aristotle, to achieve happiness, one should live their life in accordance with their virtues. That means if you are living your life according to the values, according to the morals, ethics that you believe in, that will give you a happiness which is long lasting. And once you are living your value by virtues, it will, it will lead to a greater purpose and meaning in life. Uh, and this greater purpose and meaning in life will ultimately lead to not only sustainable development, sustainable growth, but also happy people in the organization. And if somehow we can do that, if and now the organizations are thinking about, they are moving from hedonia to eudaimonia. They are trying to move that it is not about momentary pleasure that we should focus on, but it is a long term happiness that we should focus on. And that long term happiness with uh, uh, which comes with doing something which one believes in, which helps in an individual to achieve its fullest potential. Is it somebody raised hand or what? This okay. And you know, to to achieve the stage, sorry, to achieve the third stage, the sorry growth stage, what we have is we we have three three, or organization can take up three initiatives, three types of happiness the organization can. Uh, First one is pleasure, where we are talking about the avoidance stage, where then it is more related to that they organize birthday parties in the office, or they celebrate religious festivals in the office, or they go for a party. So that is the first stage. It is the initial stage. And then the organization can go to the second stage, which is called as the passion stage, where the employee is involved into and engaged into the work that he is doing. And third stage is when the organization helps the employee realize higher purpose, being a part of something bigger than yourself. That means whatever you are doing for the welfare of the society. When you have that feeling that whatever you are doing, it is ultimately going to benefit the society, and that is the third stage, higher purpose. Pleasure, passion, and purpose. I'll just read out the purpose last line. To build purpose at work does not mean that we don't build upon the first two types of initiatives. So we start from the small things, we go on to a slightly bigger thing, a passion. We start with pleasure, we move on to passion, and then we move on to purpose. So once the organization they focus on purpose, it is then that they can have a happy workforce, and probably also contributing towards sustainability. uh, uh, this is this is how I had visualized it, that uh, it not only helps the organization maximize their earnings if their people are happy, but it also will help them in ensuring that this growth is sustainable, and that they are aligned with the so-called sustainable development goals that the world is envisioning these particular days. So this was all as far as I am concerned, that how happiness can lead to sustainable development and how it can lead to growth. Uh, in case there are any questions, I'll be more than happy to address. But that's otherwise that's it from my side. And I hope I was able to justify the topic which was there. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
Yeah, thank you. Welcome. So, is it? Can I disconnect now?
Uh,
Hello.
Thank you so much, sir. It is with immense gratitude and sincere appreciation that I, Ms. Chandani Shahare from the Department of Commerce and Management, on behalf of Dr. S.C. Gullane, Prerna College of Commerce, Science and Arts, is here before you today to extend a heartfelt vote of thanks to our esteemed keynote speaker. This day has been enriched by his insightful words, profound knowledge, and inspiring thoughts. Our honorable keynote speaker, Dr. Mehta sir, presence here has been a true privilege. His address has not only illuminated the topic at hand, but has also opened doors to new perspectives and ideas. We are fortunate to have been recipient of their expertise and wisdom. Thank you once again, Dr. Prashant Mehta sir, for an enlightening and inspiring keynote address. Your contribution will undoubtedly resonate with us for a long time to come. Thank you, distinguished participants across the country, for their enthusiastic participation in this conference. Thank you very much for being with us. And now we are heading to our first session. And for that, I would like to hand over the charge to Kanchan ma'am. Over to you, Kanchan ma'am.
Sir, in case you can permit me, may I? Can I leave?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you. First session.
Good morning, all. Just in few minutes, we are going to start next session. Good morning, Jyoti ma'am. Are you there, ma'am?
Yeah, good morning, Sakshi. Dr. Sakshi? Yeah.
No, Kanchan ma'am.
Kanchan. Okay, I can see on the screen. Okay. Good morning, Dr. Kanchan.
Good morning, Joshi sir. Shall we start, sir? Within 5 minutes, ma'am, moderator ma'am is joining. So we can wait 5 minutes.
Okay.
नहीं भी कुछ हमसे तो चलेगा आपका सेशन का
Shall we start, sir? Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning.
A very good morning to all the dignitary, learned judges, honorable resource person and honorable chairperson. I, Dr. Kanchan Khause, an assistant professor from Department of Commerce and Management, welcome you all in the first day, in the first plenary session in National Conference on the topic of contemporary issue in management, commerce and economy, disruption and sustainability under the new norms, organized by Dr. S.C. Gullane, Prerna College of Commerce, Science and Arts, Nagpur. Education is the passport to the future, for tomorrow belongs to those who prepare for it today. Today's session is based on the topic of an opportunity and challenges in the global financial markets are growing day by day. How to face these challenges and overcome from it, we have very renowned personality today, Dr. Shri Jyoti Kutha ma'am. Let me have the privilege to introduce our today's resource person for this session. Dr. Shri Jyoti Kutha ma'am is an assistant professor of Institute of Public Enterprises, Hyderabad. Ma'am has 22 years experience in academic. She has qualified NET, SET. She has been awarded PhD in management. She has published 17 research papers in various national, international journals. Prior to joining Institute of Public Enterprises, she was associate with ICFI, Institute of Charter Financial Analysis of Indian Business School, Hyderabad. She worked with San Francisco College of Women's as well as Institute of Advanced Management Education and Entrepreneurship Business School. She also worked with Walmetric Private Limited in New York as a financial analyst. She has a vast experience in corporate finance, financial market, derivative market, risk management, and banking, etc. Really, it's an honor to have such an eminent personality with us for today's session. Welcome you, ma'am. And another eminent and renowned personality with us to moderate our session, Dr. Muktai Chauhan Dev, ma'am. Ma'am, welcome you, ma'am. Ma'am is presently working as an assistant professor of management in Maharashtra National Law University, Nagpur. She has been honored by the Women Economic Forum, New Delhi, with the iconic leader creating a better world for all. She has been awarded PhD in management along with her master degree MBA. Ma'am has done MA in psychology as well as other certified courses such as behavioral neuroscience, teaching in English. Ma'am has 16-year experience as an assistant professor, guest faculty, visiting faculty in different colleges. Ma'am has published more than 25 research papers in various national, international journals and UGC CARE. She has been achieved 4 Best Paper Award. Ma'am has conducted many corporate training program, FDPs, workshop, etc. Ma'am has such a huge profile which is not possible to cover here all her achievement within a short span. So once again, welcome you, ma'am. Without taking so much time, now I would like to request our resource person, Dr. Shri Jyoti Kutha ma'am, to illuminate us with her valuable talk. Over to you, ma'am.
Yeah. Am I audible?
Yeah.
Thank you, madam, for introducing me and giving the privilege to the college, to giving me the privilege to discuss about my thoughts, my insights on the latest global financial markets. I'll be sharing my presentation right now. Is it visible?
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Yeah. So today I was given the topic of discussing on the opportunities and challenges in global financial markets. And my name is, as Madam has introduced, my name is Sri Jyoti Kauta, and right now working for Institute of Public Enterprise. And what you see on the screen is my email ID. So to have a short outline of what we're going to discuss today, we'll start off with the global economic outlook and future trends, what we are expecting in 2024 and what we are actually right now seeing in different economies. And the second point which I would like to discuss is regarding to the global economy and the linkage with the financial markets. How these economic situations are bringing in changes in the financial markets. And this I will be discussing with respect to the higher inflation and interest rates, non-bank financial intermediaries and their vulnerabilities, what exactly is happening to them, the implication of geopolitics and financial fragmentation, and climatic implications, what we are right now facing. And third point is Indian scenario. Though I talk about the global financial markets, since India is strongly rising and it is giving an example, and with our recent experience of the Chandrayaan 3, we should be always discussing about Indian scenario and the opportunities we also have, keeping in view about the global outlook. So Indian scenario I'll be discussing based on the latest RBI stability report, financial stability report, deposit growth, credit growth, enhanced asset quality, decline in large borrowers, and profit margin boost. How we are expecting for in Indian scenario or Indian purview. So to start off with, we'll just have a wrap up of all what is happening in the global outlook. World is what we see is we have seen the last few years, 2 years, last 2 years, we have seen the COVID, and gradually we are recovering from the pandemic. Officially, COVID-19 is over because few months back also we were thinking there are some few cases, different changed virus we are hearing about in the news. So now officially COVID-19 is over in the world. It is declared. Now, so this actually is showing a positive sign in the growth in entire world. The second thing we'll talk about is the supply chain activities which have reached to the pre-pandemic levels. All of us know that before the pandemic, we were actually very successful. India and all the economies in the world were very stabilized in the supply chain activities, but pandemic has hampered, and also the war, or Ukraine war has also hampered the supply chain activities, which is reaching to the stabilization point right now. The next point, labor markets are quite tight in many places. Many countries are facing the problem with unemployment issues. This is also one important concern which can affect the financial markets. But the unemployment rate is lowering. So this is also a good sign we have to look at. Energy and food prices have grown faster than expected, which we are right now, our entire world is facing. The food prices have increased. It is expected to increase because of some of the situations like droughts in some countries, but it went higher than the expected. Then economic activity just poised, just stabilizing, just stable, trying to balance with all these pandemics, the negative effects and the positive opportunities which we look at. It is trying to stabilize. Then financial stability remains controlled due to the efforts of central banks that we are seeing from the last 1.5 year. All the central banks, the Fed Reserve or the Central Bank, Bank of England, or we talk about our bank, Reserve Bank, is actually trying to increase the repo rate and bring in a tight monetary policy where it can curb the money supply so that the inflation is reduced. Most of the economies, even the advanced economies also are facing a problem with the inflation. If that measure is not taken, then automatically the problem with the economy, financial stability will be seen. That is what we are facing right now. Asia growing very strongly compared to the other global, we'll discuss a little later in detail. Compared to the other advanced economies also, Asia is going stronger and India also is growing much stronger. And most of the world economies are looking for investment in India. Increase in the interest rates to lower the inflation has improved the banking deposits, but simultaneously increase the home loan interest and put pressure on the real estate. What we saw now, the repo rate increased, so the banking interest rates have improved. So people started putting money more in the FDs than the other investments. And also removed their funds from the savings account and current account. The CASA accounts are actually facing problem. That is removed and put in the FDs. So it is good for the investors, but again, simultaneously, what is happening? The home loan interests are going higher. What we saw in China also, the real estate problem. Now, going into detail of the economic outlook, all of us have seen and heard about these important two things which is happening. Economic slowdown this year, which we are facing after the pandemic, the Russia-Ukraine war, and now the inflation issues. And next year, the growth is expected to be a little better, but projected fall is seen from the last year from 3.4 to 2.9, and a small correction is made by the International Monetary Fund to 3.1, and it can rise little more. On an average, it will remain at 2024 at 3%. That is what is expected. You can see the map on the graph on the left-hand side, what exactly is happening in the growth rates. In the growth rate, if you see, other emerging markets are having a higher growth rates when compared to the advanced economies. And the growth rate is following in the last couple of years. Now, global economy has shown resilience, but growth is slowing and the outlook remains weaker. That's what we were discussing about. Outlook remains weaker because of all these inflationary pressures also and settlement of these unemployment situations. Projected growth in 23 and 24 is around 3%. Higher interest rates helping cool inflation. Our central banks have to take an action regarding to the interest rates. They have to increase the interest rates to curtail the inflation. Quick action taken has actually stopped from the banking turmoil. Otherwise, there would have been a huge crisis. Growth is held back by persistent inflation and higher borrowing cost. The borrowing cost has increased because the interest rates are higher. Again, there is a need for a trade-off here. What you see in the global projections, which we talk about, if you see India with the red, we are seeing a growth rate about more than 6 and 6.8 was expected, but now 6.1. And where are the advanced economies? Advanced economies are somewhere around 3. So this is how we say the average growth rate expected right now, and 23 and 24 expected is averaging at around 3%. The slowdown in global growth in 23 is likely to be severe than previously expected. Than the other issues we had, but the growth rate did not go so low, but now we have multiple effects. The world economy faces the risk of a prolonged period of subpar growth. It is not as per expectation growth. And inflation remains stubbornly high in many countries. And there are countries with around 120% inflation also. So very high. And there are countries like Pakistan and Sudan also where there were drought situations, and because of which there was a food inflation. Labor markets in many developed economies have continued to show resilience with lowering unemployment rates. Global monetary tightening has aggravated fiscal and debt vulnerabilities in developing countries. Many of the countries now we hear about the news about the debt vulnerabilities which is happening, the debt crisis in the nations and the economies itself. Going to the next screen, you can see about the important factor that is the geopolitical tensions. Everybody today talks about the geopolitical risk or the tensions which are creating problems in the financial markets. So we cannot forget this in the map. What you see, gone are these years. What we see in 2020 and the last 1 year, which what we see in the Russia invasion of Ukraine, this has affected the financial markets globally. And now economies are trying to pull down their orders for China and US dollars, and they are trying to dominance of US is not, going to be going further. They want to change from the investments to different countries. The important other factor what we can talk about is the financial fragmentation. Financial fragmentation goes like this: countries think of investments to be in different avenues, not only at one place. So when so much of fragmentation is seen in the world, it is good for the economy and the world financial outlook, but ultimately, if the fragmentation is too much, economies and the countries do not know where the investments go. Exactly. So, as you see in the graph here, there should be a trade-off till the point where my mouse is actually, I'm showing the cursor. This point is fine. If it goes below, the fragmentation is going higher, then what you feel is it is bad to the financial markets. And this will bring down the performance, or financial stability will be affected with the financial fragmentation. Till a point, it is good for the financial stability. The next important factor what we need to talk about is the climatic implications. Like I just talked about a drought in countries like Sudan, Somalia, Pakistan, etc. There are a couple of eight countries altogether. So here, increasing or lowering agricultural production because of the climate situations, because of which the food prices have increased, food supply is not there, economy weakened, and global scenario also because higher inflations. That's why interest rates were increased. Again, the financial stability issues. Dampening economic activity and lowering labor productivity because of the climate. Because of these situations, labor could not give the 100% productivity, which affected the financial markets. Reducing wealth and income and their consumption, thereby consumption and investment. Wealth is reduced because they could not make money as expected, and that's how they could not consume. They did not consume whatever they have to also. They did not have sufficient money for investment. Also affecting transportation and infrastructure and distribution costs. These were increased because the inflation went on so high, and because of the climatic situations, the cost also increased. Then going to the next topic of global finance and risk structure. How this is affecting the global scenario or global outlook. Due to the rise in inflation, the revaluation of assets is done. Because of inflation, what happened? The prices are going much higher. People try to, save some money. And also with the effect of the pandemic, people started putting more money as buffer, because the buffer is actually spent in the pandemic time. They want buffer, and that is why what we see is people are trying to invest in a different places, so that in long run, whichever investments or assets are going to help them out, or make them self-sufficient with the investments. So the revaluation of the assets have been done, and what we see is the scenario is different. The high quality assets are not rising, and the real estates and stock rose after the little bit of stabilization after the tightening by the banks. tightening of interest rates by the bank, what we see is real estate and stocks have rose. But high quality assets like your derivatives, they did not show a good rise, and the structured products did not show a very good rise as expected because people started thinking differently. So the key forces bringing in changes could be the persistently high cost of living. People are trying to invest more, have a better living, have their buffer. Financial sector turbulence because of the change in interest rates that is affecting the non-banking financial institutions and your other mutual funds, pension funds, hedge funds, insurance companies. All these places you see a lot of change. Spillovers from a slowdown in China also that effect also seen globally. Higher debt distress, as we discussed earlier, the debt crisis is there with majority of the economies. Deeper geoeconomic fragmentation, the geoeconomic situation which is actually moving to different economies also. Then with all these situations, what are the policymakers needed? This is the recommendations, some of the recommendations given by the World Bank and the International Monetary Fund. So they need to maintain financial stability. For that, they need to increase the interest rates. Curbing budget deficits while supporting the vulnerable. Wherever money is not required to be spent, governments have to take care and spend wherever it is required, wherever it is vulnerable. Support has to be given. Advanced debt relief for poorer countries that is needed, like we have talked about Sudan, Somalia, they need some support. And other countries also wherever the debt crisis is existing. Promoting cooperation to speed the green transition, because today we talk about the environmental changes so that we do not see any other climatic implications later. The green transition, as even today in this decade we see a lot of changes, but still more aggravated promotions have to be done for green transition. And mitigate future risks so that our future is better. So this green transition has to be implemented. Going ahead, we can see the global economy and the financial markets. Its linkage with the financial markets. We have seen the global economic outlook, how this can impact the financial markets. So firstly, the global financial system, because of the, as we were talking about from last couple of minutes about higher inflation and the interest rates, we saw that inflation went too high and central banks had to act upon by increasing the repo rates and curbing the money supply by tightening strategies. But we also see in banks the failure of two banks, Silicon Valley Bank and Signature Bank, and also people lost confidence in Credit Suisse Bank, Credit Suisse financial institution. This is because these two banks have invested in the crypto, and crypto there is a sharp fall. And what happened? These two banks had to say, thank you, I cannot pay back. But governments are intervening. But these two banks have affected the financial system also. And these challenges have actually added on fuel to the current situation of the inflation and its interaction with the financial condition. Because of that, we have seen some more effect, multiplied effect. Increases in vulnerabilities since the global financial crisis. Since the global financial crisis 2008, things have changed. After the subprime crisis, what we see are the global financial crisis, then things try to stabilize, but again there be other major effects. Failure of banking institutions causes shifting patterns of deposits across different institutions. People tried, after they lost confidence on these banks, they started shifting their investments in different non-banking financial institutions. This could raise funding costs for bank, because if no deposits, then there is a problem. Then no less deposits, less credit also, then how will the banks grow? This is a situation. We can see the historical decomposition of inflation over a couple of years. If you see in the graph, there are various factors for this: fuel price shock, supply shock, policy rate shock, exchange rate shock, output gap shock, money supply shock, asset price shock, wage shock. All these we have discussed. The dotted line shows the inflation, how the central banks are trying to stabilize. And in 23, the inflation fell because of the tightening of the monetary policy. And going ahead also, inflation is expected to be little lower and favorable for banks and other financial institutions. The tighter monetary and financial conditions may pose a stability threat. Threat was raised because of financial leverage, liability, liquidity, and asset mismatches. Because of the confidence, what we saw, because confidence in investors, which was there because of those two banks which gave the example. People started putting money in different assets. That's why the liquidity problem, and the leverage by the banks also because higher interest rates. And this interconnectedness of banking institutions with the non-banking financial institutions also has an effect in the financial market, because as we know, the important the important institutions which are bringing in changes in the global financial markets are: one is your banking institutions, the second one is your non-banking financial institutions. So both are interconnected. Something happens good to the banks, sometimes it can affect the non-banking financial institutions. And non-banking financial institutions are troubled because of increase in the interest rate. What we see is traditional banking institutions also see a little bit of effect. So the sectors like venture capital, technology, commercial real estate have affected more, and ample liquidity is taken out, and that's why the change in the financial system. And as I told earlier, buffers by the households were spent during the pandemic, and now they want to have more buffer for them, and their ideas of investment is different, which is more safer for later date. So leaving them more vulnerable to default risk because they have the scare. Several steps can be taken in financial stresses intensify. One step is pull back from global risk taking. Globally, the risk taking ability will be reduced, and they have to, people and the investments and the companies and any other financial institutions have to reduce the risk taking and go for more stable investments. Emerging market economies continue to confront worsening debt sustainability trends. Again, we have seen the debt crisis, which is affecting the financial system. Many are already facing strains and funding challenges. The prospect of higher inflation and interest rates has profound implications on the asset prices also, because all the different securities which are being traded, it actually depends on the interest rates. And this can add on to the vulnerabilities and poor liquidity in bond markets. What we have seen in the recent trend is people are moving money to bonds. Government bonds are receiving more encouragement because they want investments to be more stable. One of the other next factor which we talked about, the interconnectedness, that is a non-banking financial intermediaries. These are actually facing the vulnerabilities during tighter financial conditions. How? Interest rates are increasing, so they are facing a difficulty. Stress among NBFIs emerges due to elevated leverage and liquidity mismatches because not great encouragement there in their products. People are not ready for their products because of the higher interest rates. And also the investments going to the bank fixed deposits because the interest rates in banks are much higher. Third one, what we see is, next one, the geopolitics and the financial fragmentation. This is required for the macro financial stability. The geopolitical tensions like your pandemic and the Russian war affects the cross-border allocation of capital. Because of this, people are not ready to invest money, the people and the economies and the institutions also, and companies. They're not ready to invest in every place. Not like earlier, they are changing their investments to different countries where it is safer. That's why in India we have more opportunities. International payment systems and asset prices. Investing countries give less capital to countries, and different foreign policies have to be are there. Increase in geopolitical tensions causes a sudden reversal of cross-border capital flows. Impact is larger for emerging markets than the advanced economies. Always, whatever we see, these tensions actually impact higher in the emerging economies. Financial fragmentation could pose macro-financial stability risk to banking infrastructure, because economies and the central banks are not knowing where the funds are being distributed in so many places because of too much of fragmentation. Increase in banks' funding costs, decline in profitability, and lower credit availability for private sector, because public sectors are happy now. Banks with lower capitalization ratios are affected more by these factors. Financial fragmentation could exacerbate macro financial volatility in the longer term. This effect can be seen little later, also for a longer time, and it can also help an economy that is already facing adverse domestic and external shocks. What the countries can do is go for diversification, risk diversification. What can the central bank do? Central bank intervention, it has to go for discretionary market-wide intervention. It can go for not intervening everywhere. It can be temporary. Whenever required, these non-banking financial institutions need the support from the central bank. Lender of last resort for them. At stress, even at higher rate, non-banking financial institutions are ready for loans. Access to standing lending facilities should not be given without proper supervision. Sorry, it is without proper supervision. So, the central bank should be supporting the non-banking financial institutions under the window of lending facility, marginal standing facilities, whenever they require, with supervision whether the non-banking financial company is utilizing for the right purpose. With the supervision, the money should be provided to them. Coming to the Indian scenario, now we have seen what is happening in the global financial markets. What is happening in Indian scenario is little more different. Robust deposit growth. What we have seen in the last decade, we have seen a shift. That is, the deposit growth is increasing. Deposits have increased 10% more in the banks, and it's reaching 11.8 as on June 2nd, 2023. This is with reference to the RBS report. And the primary driver of this growth was private sector banks, because they have increased the interest rates. When the repo rate is increasing, the bank deposit interest rates is going above 7 and 7.1. So because of this, people started putting in safer investments like FD, removing from your other equities and other investments. But the CASA accounts are not seeing any growth. They are seeing a relative decline. That means people don't want 3.54%, they want 7%. People are more aware now. So that is why the CASA declined, deposits declined. Second factor what we saw was the credit is also increasing. Banks are getting more money, so they are again giving more loans. So surpassing 15%, more than 15% credit growth. This is a very good sign for the banking institutions. Because of these interest rate hike, banks are giving more loans, going very aggressive, and these loans are personal loans, housing, credit card receivables, vehicle, auto loans, etc. And year on year, it's expected to be a hike of 22.2%. Third one, what we can see is the gross NPA, non-performing assets, are reducing. The gross NPA is around 3.9%, and the net NPA is coming to 1% because this is adjusted by the banks. Gross always shows 3.9% 10-year low. This is the lowest from the past 10 years. And whatever surplus the banks has, it will put some money in the gross NPA, adjust it to the 1% level, that is a net NPA. Decline in large borrowers. Basically, banks are not encouraging the large borrowers loans. They are rather targeting the retail loans like personal loan, vehicle loan, gold loan, all these things. So the decline in the large borrowers dropped from 51.1 to 46.4. More encouragement to retail loans. The profit margin boost also is there because we have seen the higher interest rates by the banks. So more deposits, the growth of the bank is happening, and difference between the lending and the deposit, we can say that it's a net interest margin, resulted in a healthy net interest margin that is at 38.4%, which is a good sign for Indian banks. So what are the opportunities then? Because keeping these in mind, we have talked about all the challenges, what we have seen. And looking at the scenario now, the global as well as the Indian scenario, what opportunities we can expect? This we talk about with respect to three different factors. For banks and financial institutions, what are the opportunities which we can look at? Technology-driven opportunities and the climatic strategies, how they can utilize the situation for benefit. So what are the opportunities? We talked about the global outlook. India performing better compared to other economies in the world. 6.8 growth rate expected now. Next year, 6.1. This year, 6.8 we have seen in the map also, in the graph also. 6.1 in the next year expected. And India is growing very strongly, and as we see the scenario, more than 50 countries are looking for direct investments in India. Many companies looking for investment destination want to diversify away from China and other countries. As I discussed earlier, they want to pull out the funds because they have faced situations with China. So they want to pull out and invest in India. India is recognized as a very prospective market. India on G20 presidency. So now we have the better inputs, confidence, a say in the global market. Progress in digital infrastructure. India is investing. We talk about Startup India, Make in India, Stand Up India, Digital India, all the progress which we see because of the present scenario in India. And more participation from women is seen. There is great fragmentation risk also, but giving rise to some of the opportunities to us. That means we can also expect some investments, the portfolio investments from other economies. What could be the opportunities for banks and financial institutions? Banks can grow deposits, put some money aside for difficult times. Some money has to be put. Banks should not be investing everything in the risky assets. Digital investment has to be done because that's the future. Smart lending offers needed to be given by banks. Deepening customer relationships should be there so that customers getting confidence because they have seen the situation of two bigger banks. Protect income and avoid revenue leakage. Many banks and financial institutions have invested heavily in digital technology. So going ahead, we are in the very prominent arena. Dynamic pricing engines for deposits and loans. They have to have the trade-off. Higher interest rate for loans are actually making people resist to go for real estate, but higher deposits are encouraging. So they have to have a proper price engine so that they are putting at an apt level. Increasing the sales efficiency by the banks, and hybrid investment advice, not investing only the simple assets. Some of the hybrid investments also have to be made. What are the opportunities? Technology driven, adoption of blockchain technology in banking sector, more of transparency, so more of confidence to the customers and more of deposits. Rising use of digital banking services like UPI. Now we see that today UPI is accepted by other economies also. It's having a growing demand. So further investment in such kind of avenues. Rising use of cryptocurrency and the fintech disruptions which we are hearing today. Adoption of new technologies for fraud management. Since frauds are happening, new technologies can be developed so that investor confidence, customer confidence can be improved. Increasing wealth of high net worth individuals is happening. Cost of living is improving, standard of living is improving. So high net worth individuals are, today we see that villages are also bringing the bigger SUVs. So all the foreign investments are happening in the automobile sector because people are investing in the high-end vehicles also. So like that, and the villa culture. So what we see is increase in the wealth is happening. So more of products which are encouraging them. Rising demand for alternative investments like art and craft, etc. So people are trying to put money in those also. Growth in individual investors investments also is seen, that can bring in a good sign to the financial market. The turnover, overall financial markets can be improved. Then with the perspective of climatic strategies, how we can bring understand the opportunities ahead. Increased revenues due to shift to sustainable energy sources. Climate is bad and most of the investments are happening for renewable energy, green energy and so on. Increased production capacity and reduced cost. So what we see is the cost is also reduced because you are not using the fossil fuels. Increased value of fixed assets invested in renewable sector because that's going to reap you benefits for many more years. Access to new markets and assets available. Greater access to capital and lower borrowing cost as more investors are ready today because people are looking for long-term value and not for short-term. Especially after the pandemic, today they are looking to invest in the renewable energy. Strengthening ESG practices and the climate transition in the financial markets. So more of ESG practices are encouraged, have to be strengthened, and increasing awareness in ESG investments. We have already seen the ESG funds getting a lot of demand and growth we have seen in the past 6 months also, as investors are looking for long-term value. They do not just want to invest anywhere. They are looking at some genuine investments which are going to add value to their portfolio. And what you see on the screen is an example how all this can be achieved. One example of China, what they have done. Earlier we have seen examples of San Francisco, New York, Tokyo. They had Bay Areas, global Bay area, but now we have the example of China, which has actually capitalized the technology hub, Hong Kong and Macau and Guangdong. These three cities, they have capitalized, which are very prominent among the top 50 cities in the world. They have made it as a hub, technology hub and a tourist hub, where these three dominant cities, they're called as a GBA, and they itself form a financial ecosystem where a lot of investment is happening, and there's a tremendous growth happening in these three cities. That is with respect to technology and innovation, trade and logistics, and financial services. So you can see the quantum of innovation and entrepreneurship happening in this place. And this is an example for other economies, emerging economies also, what they can track and capitalize on whatever they have in the countries and going ahead have a more stabilized financial system. And the reports which I have referred for all this information, insights what I put in from the last couple of minutes are based on Global Financial Stability Report, World Bank Report, OECD Report on Climate Change, RBI Financial Stability Report, and the BIS Report, Bank of International Settlements. Thank you. Thank you to the organizers.
Thank you. Thank you so much, ma'am, for this wonderful session. Ma'am has explained very well about the global opportunity available in the financial market for the growth and what are the challenges we are going to face at a global level in the financial market, which are growing day by day. Now, I request Dr. Muktai Chauhan Dev, ma'am, to moderate the session. Over to you, ma'am.
Yes.
Good morning, everyone. I hope I'm clearly audible.
Yeah, ma'am.
All right. So, good morning to one and all present here. My regards to Jyoti Kotha, ma'am. And at the outset, I would like to take this opportunity to thank the organizers for inviting me to moderate this session on this two-day national conference on contemporary issues in management, commerce, and economics, disruption and sustainability under the new normal. And this conference, which is being in a virtual mode, says that we are adapting to the new normal. Conferences which used to happen in physical mode, and this is now the new normal. So yes, thank you very much, and great job by the organizers in organizing this wonderful event. So basically, whatever Jyoti Kutha ma'am says was so informative and so comprehensive that it need not be explained again by me, or rather, moderate the session per se. But what I am going to talk about today is something really different. But at the same time, to whatever Jyoti Kutha ma'am has said, it will make some sense to the students and other researchers out there. So I'm going to talk about inclusive growth model that has been adopted by India and how we can go ahead. So whatever ma'am has said, just taking some points from it, I'll be going ahead. Do I have the permission to share my screen? All right. So first I'm going to show you all a small video about economic growth and social inclusion. So let me just share my screen and let me know if it's clearly visible to you all or not. All right. Is the screen visible? Can someone just say yes, because I am not on the other side?
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you so much. I'm going to play. Let me know if the sound is clearly audible or not. I hope it's audible. So I just wanted to, talk about give you a small glimpse of what exactly is social inclusion, or when we talk about something as simple as development, what exactly it is. I believe there are some 60, 70 odd people here in the group, and many of them are students. So I believe आज जो मैं बात करूंगी ये आपके लिए है. Rather आप लोग जब इसके लिए काम करेंगे तब जाके जो भी आज ज्योति मैम ने हमसे कहा है, whatever we are going to achieve through this inclusive growth, ये मैं आज एक 10 मिनट में आपसे बात करूंगी. So I'll now actually share my screen and go ahead with the presentation that I have made for all of you. So just give me a moment and I'm going to share my screen with you. I hope the PPT is visible to everybody. Can I have a yes, please?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, thank you so much. So yeah, so economic inclusive growth model. So we are just going to talk about what, why, how, when, where. जो common सवाल हमारे दिमाग में होते हैं कि आज जब ये 2 दिन की कॉन्फ्रेंस ऑर्गेनाइज की गई है about contemporary issues and the disruptions, etc., we as Indians should know what inclusive growth model is. And I'm sure that when you are reading economics or management, कहीं ना कहीं ये term आपके syllabi में आई होगी. So inclusive growth is not only a development strategy that seeks to improve the well-being of all members of the society, regardless of their income level, social status, or geographic location. Now, what happens is most of the time that growth does happen. There is growth. We can see that there are few people who are spending a lot. There is a lot of, मैम ने अभी automobile industry के बारे में भी mention किया हुआ था, that a lot of foreign investments are happening in the automobile industry. And you can see that the people of India, the general public is buying a lot of cars. आप BMWs देखेंगे, Land Rover, Range Rovers देखेंगे, Mercedes देखेंगे. So there is one section of the society which is growing. But what about the others? Is it growing along with them? If not, what could be done so that all the members of the society are at the same level? If not at the same level, the gap between them is being reduced. So that's what we are going to talk about in inclusive growth. So when I talk about inclusive growth, everything has certain factors associated with it. So because we are an agrarian nation, we talk about agricultural development. We talk about social sector development. आज जब हम poverty reduction के बारे में बात कर रहे हैं, तो हमारे संविधान में बोलिए या हमारे नेशन ने बहुत सारे ऐसे स्कीम्स लाए हैं जिसकी वजह से we are trying to reduce the poverty of the people. Equal distribution of income, employment generation, which is very important to you, and I'm becoming to talk about it very soon. Environment protection and reduction in regional disparities. We say India is a diverse nation. Yes, it is indeed diverse, not only in terms of the religion, the caste, the creeds, the ethnicity, but also in terms of the geographic locations. And when we talk about reduction in regional disparities, we have to ensure that every city, every state of our country is at one level or is developing into a nation wherein some sort of development is there. It should not be that एक particular area है जो बहुत develop हो गया है and some other area which is quite remote and is not developed at all. Now this, I was just going through a research paper, and from there I have taken this, that when we talk about inclusive growth model, there are 5 pillars that we have to basically focus on. And for me as an educator, as a lifelong learner, education and skills is something really, really important. And I thank the organizers for giving me the opportunity to present my paper tomorrow, which will be on employability, the demographic dividend that our country has, and NEP 2020. देखिए आप सब लोगों के हाथ में है that whatever education that you are getting, you should be employable, because when you are employable, you will be generating that. आप सिर्फ एम्प्लॉयड नहीं रहेंगे, आप में से कुछ लोग एंटरप्रेन्योर्स भी बनेंगे. So you will be generating income also. So education, now in education, I talk about access, that is सबका साथ सबका विकास, right? So I talk about Sarva Shiksha Abhiyan here, that I need to give access of education to everybody. I need to provide quality education, and that's what NEP 2020 talks about. I need to enable my students, my citizens to be digitally literate, because Jyoti ma'am ke presentation mein, there was one point in which she very rightly talked about that how digital services are rising rapidly. आप एक सब्जी वाले के पास जाओ, वो भी आज यूपीआई पेमेंट ले रहा है. Now, digital literacy does not mean only how to operate a smartphone, but digital literacy means actually implementing all those small nitty-gritties. When I talk about being digitally literate, I should be able to, not only take help of the artificial intelligence that is at my hand, but also at the same time the basic things I should be able to do. So yes, pillar 1, education and skills. Pillar 2, fiscal efficiency, in which I talk about how tax codes are there, how social protection could be there, or how fiscal transfers are there. Employment. Productive employment is something which will make our nation grow stronger. So when I talk about being productive employment, and in the earlier session, you also heard about that how when it talks about innovation and technology, and ma'am has talked about 3 growth areas. One is technology and innovation, trade and logistics, and financial services. So when I talk about technology and innovation, there are jobs which are going to be displaced very soon. AI के चलते लॉ के फील्ड में एक रोबोट आके प्लीड कर सकता है. एआई की फील्ड में एक रोबोट आके आपकी छोटे मोटे सर्जरीज भी कर सकता है. और कोविड ने तो हमको ये सिखा ही दिया है कि ऑनलाइन एजुकेशन आप चाहें तो कहीं से भी ले सकते हैं. So when I talk about being productive and employed at the same time, I talk about having the necessary skills in the necessary areas as per the needs of the hour. अगर आप इसके साथ नहीं चलेंगे, then even though there would be tremendous employment opportunities out there because of many reasons, it could be investments, it could be the growth and development is happening, but if you do not have the necessary skills, employment opportunities रहेंगे पर employability अगर आपके पास नहीं रही तो दिक्कत आ सकती है. Then we talk about equitable growth and income distribution, equal opportunities for everybody. Now, let me come back to sustainable development goals and inclusive development. So, sustainable goal 8 talks about promoting inclusive and sustainable economic growth, employment opportunities, and decent work for all. For all, I mean without having any gender disparities. So equal opportunities should be there for everybody. And here I talk about physically disabled, people who are having certain intellectual disabilities also. There should be some opportunities for them so that they are a part of our ecosystem. Financial inclusion and access to health. We say health is wealth, right? So जब हम access to health देंगे, when we have a healthy mind and a healthy body, we'll be able to perform better. And therefore, whatever pillars that I'm talking about here, these 5 pillars, they're interlinked somewhere. Now, asset building and entrepreneurship. So yes, being an entrepreneur, आप देख रहे होंगे unicorn, startups, Shark Tank India, I'm sure बहुत लोगों ने देखा होगा, in which people are coming up, youngsters like you, who have a lot of potential, are beaming up with ideas. And I'm sure प्रेरणा कॉलेज का खुद का एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप डेवलपमेंट सेल भी होगा जो आपको प्रमोट करता होगा to start something on your own. So yes, small business ownership and home and financial asset ownership. So I believe that we here are talking about a holistic approach towards inclusive growth model. I hope I'm not going too fast. Are we still on the same page? Can I get a yes from someone?
No, ma'am.
All right, going good? Right. Great. Because students are here, I don't want to bore them. So yes, because now I am an assistant professor at Maharashtra National Law University, let me tell you कि हमारे संविधान में Article 28 है, which talks about inclusive growth, जहाँ ये बोला जाता है कि state, now say for example, we are living in the state of Maharashtra, so Maharashtra state shall in particular strive to minimize inequalities in income, and endeavor to eliminate inequalities in status, facilities, opportunities, and not only among individuals, but also amongst groups of people residing in different areas or engaged in different locations. आप देख रहे होंगे बहुत सारे स्टेट्स में अपने अपने खुद के छोटे छोटे उन्होंने स्कीम्स शुरू किए गए हैं, नॉट ओनली टू रिड्यूस पॉवर्टी बट टू एंश्योर एम्प्लॉयमेंट जनरेशन फॉर एवरीबडी हु इज देयर इन द पब्लिक आउट देयर. बिकॉज अगर सब लोगों का विकास होगा तो तब जाके हमारे देश का कहीं ना कहीं विकास होगा. मैम हैज सेड दैट इंडिया इज नाउ G20 प्रेसिडेंसी. आप देख रहे होंगे इसकी वजह से काफी से पीपल आर टॉकिंग अबाउट इंडिया, पीपल आर टॉकिंग अबाउट हाउ इट इज बीइंग वन डेवलपिंग नेशन से हम डेवलप्ड नेशन की और हमारी जो चल रही है एक पाथ, हमने प्रोग्रेस चार्ट बना लिया है, इट इज गोइंग ऑन वेरी वेल. But then, what are the challenges for inclusive growth in India? One being poverty. There is a huge gap between what people actually have and have not, जो हम लोग बोलते हैं, उसके बीच में gap है. So poverty is there. Inequality अभी भी है. I'm not only talking about religion or caste, I'm also talking about gender discrimination. So inequality in terms of the financial status, the social status, as well as the educational status, that remains. Unemployment, a bigger challenge. And tomorrow when I present my paper, I'll be able to more focus on that it's not just about unemployment, it's about employability that we should be focusing on. Regional disparities are there. Now, I don't want to sound very political here, nor do I favor any political party. But if you talk about the northeastern states, the kind of development that is happening there is tremendous. So we have our Honorable Nitin Gadkari ji, who is connecting India through in and throughout, right? Through infrastructure, through road and highways and railways. So that regional disparity somehow is going to be reduced with the policies implementation of the government. And yes, gender discrimination, which is slowly, I'll not say completely, but slowly, kahin na kahin pe, out of 10, at least 2 people, if they, have this attitude of not being gender discrimination, we can go ahead. So what's the way ahead? So first, that's my favorite as an educator. Here is where I can actually focus on. This is where I can actually put in my 100%. That is investing in training and skill development. As educators, as teachers, we give in 100% to ensure that the students that we have are employable. And not only employable, later on, if there are certain areas wherein we need to upgrade those skills, जैसे software upgrade होता है, वैसे ही we need to upgrade our skills every now and then. Promoting entrepreneurship, expanding the social safety nets for people, addressing regional disparities and tackling gender discrimination are few 5 points. हम पंचवार्षिक योजना बोलते हैं. So my 5 pointers or pillars in which we can talk about going ahead with having an inclusive growth model in India. Now, the few measures that have been taken in India to achieve inclusive growth, one is Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Act, in which we are trying to give employment to people. दीन दयाल उपाध्याय ग्रामीण कौशल योजना हो गई, या हमारा सर्व शिक्षा अभियान हो गया. जब मैंने हेल्थ या एक्सेस टू हेल्थ के बारे में बात की थी, नेशनल रूरल हेल्थ मिशन, हम जैसे पोलियो को इराडिकेट कर पाए हैं, वैसे ही जो आगे चल के जो भी छोटे मोटे हमारे यहाँ इन्फेक्शियस, कंटेजियस या नॉन इन्फेक्शियस डिसीजेस हैं, उनके लिए व्हाट काइंड ऑफ फैसिलिटीज दैट वी आर गिविंग कम्स इन नेशनल रूरल हेल्थ मिशन. प्रधानमंत्री जन आरोग्य योजना हो गया या आयुष्मान भारत डिजिटल मिशन हो गया. These are a few measures that can help India to go ahead. Now see, we can talk about that. Yes, globally there is a clamor for creating a more inclusive world, and India is also a front runner in this. Now, India is committed to the Sustainable Development Goals, achieving it by 2030 and all. And therefore, I feel that inclusive growth is one of the important components of the Amrit Kal vision as mentioned in 2023 budget also. And therefore, it is Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas, in which we will be able to actually take India to the Sone ki Chidiya that it was once. Now, let me tell you that I have made this poem with the help of Bard AI. Students, there must be, or researchers, research scholars, and even teachers. We generally think of artificial intelligence as a way of shortcut, कि हम cut paste कर लेंगे etc. But if you use the artificial intelligence in the right manner, it can make wonders for you. Now this, I just wanted to talk to you about that, how I just asked Bard AI that can you give me something on inclusive growth in a poetic manner, and this is how Bard AI has helped me. So this, I give the entire credit of this particular poem of inclusive growth to Bard AI. So let me just read it out to you. When all are lifted up, the whole society benefits. When everyone has a chance, the economy thrives. No one left behind, no one forgotten. We all work together for a better future. We build strong institutions that protect the vulnerable. We invest in education to create a skilled workforce. We promote innovation to create new opportunities. We care for the environment for the sake of future generations. Inclusive growth is not just a dream, it is a goal we can achieve. When we work together, we can build a better world for all. That is all from my side. Thank you so much for patiently listening to me. You can connect with me anytime. For anyone else, these are the references that I have gone through while making this presentation, and the credits for the background that the template goes to Slides Go and FreePick. Thank you so much. So if you have any questions or we need to talk about something else, please let me know. Yeah, somebody has raised a hand, is it? I don't know.
Ma'am, good afternoon, ma'am.
Yeah, Kamlesh Mittal. Okay, yes.
Ma'am, you were talking about financial inclusion here.
Yeah.
So, what are the areas in which still there is a gap when it comes to research part?
When it comes to?
Research.
In terms of financial inclusion, you are talking about?
Yes.
Yeah. So when we talk about financial inclusion per se, we are not able to, given, what should I say, implement all the policies 100% when it comes to the rural sector, etc. But if you are talking about the exact policies, I'll not be able to, comment on that per se. If Jyoti ma'am would like to pitch in and answer the research gaps that you are talking about, or
specifically when it comes to women, ma'am, like when I went to the street vendors,
yeah,
they exactly doesn't know what exactly financial inclusion means and the policies or the schemes given to them.
Yes. So here, ma'am, what happens is when and basically because you talked about the vendors. So the earlier institution where I worked in, that is Dr. Punjabrao Deshmukh Institute of Management Studies and Research. So there was one of my colleagues who did a wonderful survey when it comes to maids, right? And when it came to maids, when we did a survey to understand, do they know about the basic policies that are there when it comes to जिसको हम लोग बचत कट योजना बोलते हैं, तो ये भी उनको नहीं पता था. छोटी छोटी चीजें हैं. तो यहाँ पे एनजीओज बहुत ज्यादा रोल प्ले करेंगे, जहां पे जाके हम वहां पे उनको बता सकते हैं कि ओके दीज आर द थिंग्स वेर इन, छोटी इन्वेस्टमेंट की बात हो गई, आरडी स्कीम्स हो गया, ये भी नहीं पता होता है. बट देन अवेयरनेस कैंपेन्स could be one of the way wherein I think could be.
But I feel the awareness programs will be for like 1-2 days. If it is for
Yes.
1-2 days, I think they can't reach it to all.
I completely understand that, ma'am. And here what I feel is, if, say for example, I'm not very sure whether it is implemented or not, Jyoti ma'am would be able to explain that better. Say for example, Nagpur city, अगर Nagpur municipal corporation अगर area wise ये divide कर लेता है, एक अंदाजन अगर हमको अप्रोक्सीमेट एरिया में पता चल जाता है, so there are 10,000 women who are say doing the business, रोड साइड वेंडर्स ले लीजिए. अगर मुझे पता चलता है ना, देयर इज लक्ष्मी नगर का जोन है हमारे नागपुर में, तो वो अगर जोन में मान लीजिए 10,000 महिलाएं हैं, तो क्या हम इसको एक रिपीटेटिव, एक साइक्लिक प्रोसेस नहीं कर सकते हैं, जहाँ के हम जाके एक जैसे नॉर्मल स्कूल्स होते हैं जो म्यूनिसिपल स्कूल्स, वहां पे जाके NGOs, एजुकेटर्स, फाइनेंशियल जो प्लानर्स बता सकते हैं कि इनको क्या क्या चीजें बताई जा सकती है, और यही क्यों कॉलेजेस क्यों नहीं ये ले सकते हैं एज अ पार्ट ऑफ देयर ISR एक्टिविटी। इफ एवरी कॉलेज, हमारे एरिया में इतने अगर महिलाएं हैं तो बच्चों का भी इसमें ट्रेनिंग हो जाएगा, टीचर्स का भी फायदा होगा और सोसाइटी का भी फायदा होगा। यही तो इंक्लूजन है ना मैम।
So the college
I
can
will
play a very important role when it comes to this.
Yes,
I would like to add a point here.
please ma'am, please.
Yeah. So what you were talking about, Dr. Mukta, thank you for your valuable points and your inclusive model. Before I speak about the related question, what you were talking about experimenting something with the students, I have done it in 2016 when we have faced a demonetization situation when all the vendors were finding it difficult to get cash. So my one batch of students I have taken to, we call it in Hyderabad Raitu Bazaar, Erragada Raitu Bazaar, with the help of NGO. I'm tied up with one NGO. So there we have actually went one whole day. Our students have explained the vendors about the cashless transactions. And because they were sitting with the vegetables idle whole day and many days like that because of demonetization. This is an outreach program we planned, and we have told, I thought, it will be for that day and it will finish off, but it continued because these students were totally engrossed, and they have actually, reacted later on also. These vendors also called them next day whenever they got stuck. So this help went on, and these people are now using cashless.
So one of the objective,
this can happen.
One of the objective or the finding can be these colleges can come into the picture other than NGOs.
As an outreach
Yes,
program,
yes,
college
yes.
students are very, very effective because they speak very local language, regional language, which is very easy for the vendors to understand.
Ma'am, you are from Hyderabad, ma'am?
Yes,
Jyoti, ma'am?
Hyderabad, yeah.
Ma'am, I am also from Hyderabad only.
Okay.
Okay. When
So you must be
said-
knowing Erragada Raitu.
Pardon, ma'am?
You must have heard about Erragada Raitu Bazaar.
Yes.
This is a wholesale market. This is a place where we experimented and worked out.
Okay.
In 2016.
Okay. Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
This can work out. This can definitely work.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, ma'am. If anyone have any query regarding this session, they can ask to both the eminent personality present here. If anyone have any query regarding this topic. I hope ma'am has explained very well. So each and everyone should understand regarding this topic. Now, last but not the least, I thank you, the eminent resource person, for her wonderful talk and guidance on the topic of on this topic, Dr. Shri Jyoti Kotha ma'am, and also I thank you, ma'am, Dr. Muktai Chawandeb ma'am, for moderating this session wonderfully. I especially thank you to Dr. S.C. Gullane sir, Secretary of Prerna Seva Mandal, Abhilasha Gurdev ma'am, CEO of Prerna Seva Mandal, Dr. Joshi sir, Director of our college, Dr. Revatkar sir, Principal of our college, Dr. Gupta sir, Head of the Commerce Department, and thank you all the conference coordinator for their continuous support and guidance. Thank you all the faculty members and dear students. With this, I declare that the session is over, and to begin the second session, I would like to hand over the charge to Poonam Budlani ma'am. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, madam. And thank you for Prerna College for giving me the opportunity to interact with all of you, all the participants, students, and various professors from different institutions. Thank you for listening patiently for such a long time. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Good day to everyone.
Thank you, Dr. Muktai. Thank you.
Ma'am, the session is tomorrow. Like, we have a session tomorrow also, I think.
Right now we have second session, ma'am. Tomorrow also we have session.
Achha, we are still having the session for today. From what time, ma'am?
After 5 minutes. We'll
Because
start.
the schedule is not given, ma'am. Like when is the sessions like this? Any schedule exactly?
Schedule is given in schedule, ma'am. But if you don't, we can forward to you, ma'am.
Okay, thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you.
Good afternoon, sir. Hello, good afternoon, sir. Hello, ma'am. Hello, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
Anuj sir, are you there?
Hello, Anuj, sir. Are you there?
Yes, ma'am. I am not audible to you.
Yes, yes, sir. Good morning. Good afternoon, sir.
Afternoon, ma'am. Afternoon.
Meenakshi, ma'am, is there?
Yes, I'm here too. I think, Dr. Anuj, you need to increase your volume on the system.
Hello.
Yeah,
Hello, Dr. Anuj?
Am I audible now?
No, no, no.
Yes, sir, but your volume is very low, sir. Hello, Dr. Anuj, sir. Please increase your volume.
Yeah, I'm trying, ma'am. I think the volume is full from my system.
So within 5 minutes, we will start.
Okay, give me 5 minutes, ma'am. Give me 5 minutes.
Okay, okay, sir. Within 5 minutes, we will start.
Okay, okay.
Hello.
Hello.
Anuj sir, are you there?
Hello. Anuj, sir, are you there?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, sir. Shall we start?
Sir, it might be there some network issue. You are not audible.
Okay, okay. Give me 5-10 minutes, ma'am. I need to log on from my other system.
Okay.
Okay.
Issue from
Sure,
my
sir.
end.
No issue.
Hello, sir. Anuj, sir.
Yeah.
Now everything is perfect. We can start.
Am I audible to you?
Yes, 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 sir.
This is better. This is better. I think,
Much
Dr.
better.
Anuj, this volume is
I have not done anything from my end, to be very frank.
Hello.
Sorry?
I have not done anything from my end. All of a sudden it increased, so I'm not sure.
Okay.
Anyways, now the volume is better.
Okay. But you're not able to see me, right? Even my camera is on.
No, we are not able to
Not
see.
able to see you, sir.
Okay. Is it
Yes,
fine now?
now we
Yes,
can.
yes, yes, sir. Now we can see you.
Okay, great, great. Shall
Hello,
we start?
Meenakshi, ma'am, are you there?
Yes, ma'am, I'm right here.
But we can't see you. Your camera is, I think, not. Yes, ma'am. Yes. Hello. Shall I start?
Yeah, ma'am, please.
A very good afternoon to all the dignitaries. Honorable Resource Person Dr. Anuj Verma, moderator of today's session Dr. Meenakshi Verma, Dr. Praveen Joshi, the director of Dr. S.C. Gulhane Prerna College of Commerce, Science and Arts, all the faculty members and participants. On this occasion, I, Dr. Poonam Budlani, from Department of Commerce, take this privilege to warmly welcome to all in second session of today's national conference. As everyone is aware about the effect of the coronavirus on business, society, and the entire planet, the moment when economic activities were gradually restored, whole corporate world understand the various aspects of new normal in market. During COVID-19 and after it, we learn to live in new era with facing new challenges in management and commerce. With a view to focusing on these and many other related issues in new normal, Dr. S.C. Gulhane, Prerna College of Commerce, Science and Arts has organized 2 days national conference on contemporary issue in management, commerce and economics, disruptions and sustainability under new normals. Adding new dimensions to the contemporary issue under new normal about business analysis and competitive advantage in new normal, in which we have eminent dignitaries with us today. We are lucky to have.
ऐड कर देंगे ना
Hello.
उसका ऑलरेडी रिक्वेजिशन डाला हुआ था जी
Hello. We are lucky to have Dr. Anuj Verma, a distinguished personality and an eminent speaker, as a resource person to enlighten us with his vast experience and knowledge. Then we also have Dr. Meenakshi Verma as the moderator of today's session. I extended a hearty welcome to all the eminent dignitaries and would like to thank you all for taking time out of your heavy schedule and gracing this day with your august presence. Now let me have the privilege to introduce resource person and moderator of today's second session. First, let me have the privilege to introduce you today's resource person, Dr. Anuj Verma. He is a renowned academician and marketing expert, presently working as assistant professor of famous and renowned university, Symbiosis International University, Bangalore. After completing his doctoral research in management, he shifted his focus to set milestones in academics. He is well-versed academician who relentlessly worked for 14 years in this field. He significantly contributed to the field of research, as it is very creditable fact that there are 27 scholarly research articles to his credit throughout his academic journey. He has presented 18 papers in national and international conferences and seminars. He has meticulously worked on 7 case studies and attended 11 faculty development programs organized by leading institutions and universities. He has been conferred on with Young Achievers Award in the field of management by International Research and Development Association. He has penned 2 chapters in the edited books entitled Emerging Trends in Agriculture Marketing, a case study of Ranchi district in emerging issues in corporate sector in India, as well as contract framing in India in global management practice. After his notable work in research, Dr. Anuj Verma has authored a book entitled Business Communication and held the post of Assistant Editor in International Journal for Management and Science published by IRDA. He has also worked as a coordinator of the national level seminar as well as controller of the examination. Apart from this, 3 academic projects have been completed under his able supervision. It is our privilege to have him as a resource person. I extended heartily welcome to you, sir. We also have Dr. Meenakshi Verma as moderator of today's session. I would like to introduce you such a dynamic personality. She is distinguished academician and an excellent author who works as an assistant professor in Symbiosis Center for Management Studies, Bangalore, which is very famous, renowned institute in management studies. Combining the experience of both corporate and teaching field, she has proven herself as a skilled academician. There are 27 scholarly articles to her credit. She has also attended 23 national and international conferences and seminars. She has worked on 5 case studies and has been a part of so many faculty development programs organized by esteemed institutions and universities. She has received Young Achiever Award in the field of management from IRDA. She is elected member of Board of International Journal and Social Science and in-house journal of Department of Commerce and Business Management from Ranchi University. She has headed many interview committees of UCO and one of the eminent member of Women's Cell, serving as a trainer and counselor in Indira Gandhi National Dabbawala, as we all know, and also penned 2 articles in Dainik Bhaskar on problems and prospects of working women in India, and on a Valentine Day, a fade in India, and published one more article in Ranchi Today on Mother's Day. We are honored today to welcome such eminent personalities. I sincerely hope that everyone will enjoy this session. At the outset, I feel proud to introduce our to invite our resource person, Dr. Anuj Verma. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, ma'am, for such a flattering introduction.
Welcome, sir. You deserve it.
And I'm really grateful to the management of the Prerna College for allowing us the opportunity to interact with such dignitaries. I hope I'm able to do justice to the topic which has been assigned to me. So, can I share my slides?
Yes, sir.
Okay, is my slide visible?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So good afternoon, all of you. Today, I'm going to deal with the topic business analysis and competitive advantage. So as the ma'am has already pointed out that in the COVID era, things have changed drastically. And you can say consumers have become much more conscious, the market has become more competitive, and it has become very challenging for the companies to actually figure out how to grow and sustain themselves in the today's market. So in this context, analyzing your business, analyzing the opportunities, analyzing the challenges has become a daily task now. Already it was quite established that business is a dynamic process. You need to keep on making changes, keep on updating yourself. But now it has become much more relevant for the companies to keep on adapting to the new changes and figure out new strategies how to keep themselves going in the present world. So today topic we will deal with some basic facets. What are the various challenges which are associated with business analysis and how business analysis leads to competitive advantage for the companies. So what does business analysis actually do? The basic funda of associated with business analysis is that it plays a very crucial role in identifying and leveraging competitive advantages for a company. Now, when we talk about identifying and leverages competitive advantage for a company, what do you exactly mean by this? It says that a company needs to figure out, see, in today's world, what is happening, there is no such business where competitors are not there. So once you are running the business, you think to identify who are your competitors and how can you beat them in their game and extract the maximum market share. For this soul searching, a company has to do a lot of introspection to find out which are the areas where we can actually outclass our competitors. Now, if you take the example of Pepsi and Coke, Pepsi and Coke, they are arch rivals in the entire global market. Everybody is aware of that. So when we look at Pepsi Group and Coca-Cola, there is very thin margin of differentiation between the products. So Pepsi, in due course of time, especially when it was handled by Indra Nui, the Indian-born leader, they devised a strategy that instead of fighting Coca-Cola in the beverage sector, why can't we diversify into other field? so that we have an additional advantage when we are fighting the Coke, which gave birth to snack business of PepsiCo. Now, how did they come to know that they should diversify into snacks? Because they realize my competitor is not present there. And we can do a great thing by launching an extension version of snacks, and snacks is a huge market for them. Coke till date is not present in snack business. So even when some ups and downs happens in the beverage sector, PepsiCo is able to sit comfortably because they get a substantial amount of revenue through their snacks area. This is one such way by which you actually outclass your competition. And when we talk about what do you mean by competitive advantage, it means something which makes you very different, very unique from your rivals in the market. It has to be your USP. If your USP gets copied, it means you lose your competitive advantage. So you need to always keep on doing the soul searching, trying to figure it out how we can be better or how we can improvise so that we have that unique cutting edge with us. And for that you need to keep on analyzing the market situation, the market environment, keep on making changes, get the information, see whether this information is relevant for you, how can you make the best use of environment, and at the same time keep on improvising. If a business house thinks that okay, we are in number one position or we are in number two position, let's sit back and be comfortable, you become Nokia, you become HMT. When you look at these companies, these were giants having a complete dominance position in the market. But problem was that they became, you can say, a kind of very, very comfortable, trying not to adapt to the changing situations of the market. And hence these companies are today history. Okay, so business analysis actually allows you to be alive, be vibrant, and makes your presence felt in the market. When you look at this particular thing, one side you are having an Apple phone and second side you are having a Samsung phone. Now everybody knows Apple used to dominate the mobile market. Now Samsung, they had to keep out figuring out how to outclass Apple, how to let people convince that don't purchase Apple, purchase Samsung and pay much more money in comparison to Apple. This soul searching, this deliberation led them to come out with foldable phones. And it gave them a competitive advantage against their rivals. Hence, in today's, what is the statistics say? Statistics says that Samsung has cornered 22% of the global mobile market of the world. And Apple is 21%, though the margin is not very huge, but at least Samsung was able to outclass Apple. It is only possible when you consistently keep on evolving, consistently keep on upgrading yourself. Then only you are able to figure it out which are the areas where my competitor is lagging. I should be present in those areas and you will be able to capture the market. Majority of the companies in today's, if they are failing or if they had established past and now they are not able to cope up, you will see the reason is they are not doing the analysis of business properly. If you keep on doing that exercise on daily basis, on regular intervals, it is very difficult for you to lose your advantage. When you take the example of Maruti, if you see why Maruti is such a dominant car maker in India, in spite of so many global brands being present in India, reason is Maruti doesn't wait for the competitor to tell them what you have to do. They themselves keep on doing the soul searching. They themselves keep on finding what are the new things which are happening. What are the new ways customers can be made more delighted? What are the new ways by which I can outclass my competitor? Should I launch an EV? Should I launch an CNG? Should I modify my model? Should I change the price? They keep on doing this soul searching. Hence, they are able to establish themselves in the dominating position. Okay. So, basic advantage or basic understanding of business analysis, first of all, you should know what does a customer need, what does a customer prefers, and what is the trend which is happening in the market. If you know your customer, then only you can actually come up with a product or a service which actually satisfy the customers or better delights the customer. Okay, and we need to understand who are the customers. The customers are the people where demands and needs keeps on changing. The fashion changes, we outgrow, our income level changes, accordingly keep on demanding new products, and companies have to keep on doing consistently. See, 1970s, 1980s, there was an era where you can come up with one or two, three kinds of product and cater to the entire set of customers. Today's era is a case of micromanagement. You have to see specific needs of customers and deliver specific products to them. One standardized product cannot meet the expectation of all categories of customers. Hence, the companies need to keep on understanding what are the changing needs of the customer and accordingly see that whether I am able to fulfill that needs or not. I will give the example of two very successful products in the market. One is Renault Duster and one is this Chick shampoo. When Renault was planning to launch Duster, they realized that prior to that they had tied up with Mahindra and launched their product Logan, and the product was not at all successful. They said, no, this is not the way in which we are going to launch the product. We need to first understand the customer. What do they want? So what they did, they contacted 400 families of India, and with their they reached a kind of agreement where the executive of Renault went and stayed with that family for 3 months as a kind of family member. And the role of that executive was to simply observe the taste and preferences and the lifestyle of Indian consumers. What do they want? What is the way in which they want to travel? What kind of requirement they feel in their car? What is the kind of height of the car we should be giving? What is the kind of radius of the car we should be making? What are the challenges they face when they drive the car? What are the ways in which they use the car? Do they use the car for going to office? Do they use the car for taking on a family trip? Or do they take the car for a long drive? They incorporated all these thoughts and processes for 3 months, continuous observation. And after compiling all these thoughts, they sent this recommendation to their technical team. And the technical team actually sat down and with all those recommendations and started designing this particular car. Hence, it was such a meticulously designed product that when the product actually came into the market, it was a runaway success. It actually brought the SUV culture in India. Now, this doesn't happen on a superficial way in which you handle the customer. It only happens when you deeply analyze the customer. Then only you come to know, okay, this is the right product which is going to suit the Indian mindset or any other global mindset. Okay. And when it comes to Chick shampoo, this was the first shampoo brand which introduced the concept of sachets in India. Okay, now the why sachets? Because they realized that 80% of the Indians are living, are not very substantial earner of money. I will not say they live below BPL. Of course, poverty level index used to be very high in India. Now it has got reduced. But the time when Chick shampoo was launched, India was not doing very great in terms of per capita income. And they realized majority of the population, they want to use shampoo, but they cannot afford a bottle of shampoo. Hence, they came up with the concept of sachets so that shampoos can be made available on affordable basis to all the clients. This again, improvisation, understanding of customer requirements and needs, and accordingly launching the product to the consumer satisfaction. This again requires lots and lots of understanding of customer needs and expectation. Then only you come up with a product which becomes a runaway success. Okay. To be very frank, business products, business launches doesn't happen overnight. If you launch on a very hurried basis, there is a high probability that your product might not meet the expectation of consumers and it will meet with failure. Now, this is a basic SWOT analysis. I think all of us are aware what is SWOT, but the point is how many of the companies actually use the SWOT on regular basis. This companies, for example, let's take the example of Adani. Gautam Adani takes decision on the basis of gut feeling. It doesn't rely too much on reports. Now, this is the way such a big company works. You feel that is right, he will do it right. Same gut feeling Vijay Mallya also used to have. In spite of his Kingfisher Airlines not doing great, he was thinking that no, let me have this feeling that I will be able to do great with Kingfisher Airlines. And end of the day, since he didn't do this SWOT analysis to realize what is his weakness and what are the opportunities, this is a very basic thing, but companies forget to do this. We forget the basics. That is why we make mistakes. If you stick to the basic fundamentals of doing business, chances of making mistakes gets reduced to a great extent. Because when you know what are your strengths, you will play on your strength. When you know this is your weakness, you will try not to go into that area where your weakness gets highlighted. Okay, so you will try to dodge those kind of things. So you need to stick to these things, then only your business idea is going to work. Okay. So I'll give you example 3 different companies where this strategy actually works. Okay. If you look at this diamond chips, very upcoming brand, not having too much of great presence, but when diamond chips was launched, they knew we cannot compete with Lay's, because Lay's is a product of PepsiCo. They were having a great presence in the market, having brand ambassadors, celebrities, great distribution network. So there is no point going for head-on competition. So what they did, Diamond chose those areas where Lay's was not present. They realized we need to play our strength. We cannot fight Lay's. So they started expanding from rural beds of India. Of course, they played on price, and they knew they couldn't match Lay's in terms of quality parameter also. So they started targeting rural markets where Lay's presence was not there, offering more quantity at lesser price, and it became a runaway success in the rural market. Another example is of Airtel and Jane. Airtel, everybody knows, was able to capture the entire Indian market, but then they realized that no, competition is becoming tough. That time Jio was not launched, but that time we were having multiple players. So Airtel realized that we are doing great in Indian market, but what is our growth potential? They realize the market is going to become saturated. So let's expand. And the next strategy was to purchase South African telecom business in terms of Jane Mobiles. Though it is the other story that Jane didn't meet their expectation, and Airtel is now contemplating selling off this kind of thing. But that point of time, Airtel realized that no, my strength will increase if I increase my presence in the overseas areas. Okay, that only comes when you do the SWOT analysis of yourself. And third example, I think all of us are aware of what Elon Musk has done after taking over Twitter, hiring and firing of the employees, and he has been on the complete, you can say, the radar of all the people facing lots of criticism. But if you put yourself in the shoes of Elon Musk, he said one thing: I need to cut the cost. Because if I want Twitter to survive, I need to cut the cost. As simple as that. For cutting cost, I need to reduce the number of employees. I need to change the entire dynamic structure of the Twitter, which is functioning right now, because we are facing competition from lots of other platforms. I don't know how situation is going to go the near future. So we need to be prepared. I want a lean and thin structure for Twitter. And he made those kind of harsh decisions, which we may think that Elon Musk is a villain as of now. But if Twitter survives or grows in next 5 years, the same critics are actually going to appreciate what Elon Musk does with Twitter. So again, it is not a random decision that one overnight he took and next day he started firing employees. There must be some logic behind the action which companies do take. Next is, you need to analyze your competitors. In fact, there is a very famous book by Sun Tzu known as Art of War, which was one of the best sellers in the Silicon Valley. If you refer to that book, they lay great emphasis on analyzing or identifying your competitors. Try to analyze who are my competitors, what are the areas where they are the best, and what are their weakness, and try to hit them on those areas where they are weak. You don't fight your competitor on their strength turf, because if you fight there, you are going to lose. So hit them those areas where their presence is weak. And this is very, very crucial for the companies to understand and implement. Okay. So once you're able to identify gaps in the market, then only you can develop the strategy to be present in those gaps, and glorify and expand your business. See, LG, when it came to the Indian market along with Samsung, they saw that Indian market was something which was highly product oriented, and brands like BPL, Onida, and Videocon were doing pretty well in terms of product quality, because Videocon, etc., they had tied up with Japanese companies, and they were sourcing one of the best CRT television of that time era. So LG realized that if I say that my product is superior, maybe I will not be able to make much dent in the market of these Indian companies. So where are they lacking? They realized they lacked very bad in service area, because these companies were focused completely on giving products. They were not emphasizing on giving a good quality service. So condition was that if you had purchased a Videocon TV, if the TV breaks down or develops some kind of malfunctioning, it will take 8 or 10 days or even 15 days for the to get it rectified by the service center. That was the kind of loppy and lackluster attitude their service guys used to do. So Airtel came up with their marketing strategy that, okay, we are going to have a product is going to be good, that's fine, but that is not going to be our USP. Our USP is going to be the best services we are going to offer. Any complaint had to be addressed within 24 hours and has to be rectified in the next 48 hours. None of the complaints should last for more than 3 days. They came up with such robust service SOPs, and they implemented those services, and within a short span of time, LG became one of the most coveted brand in the Indian white good markets. Same thing Fog did. When Fog was launched, before launching, the company, the Vinyl Group, the head, he himself personally realized that the deodorant market was a cluttered market. So many brands were there, and HUL Axe was actually ruling the market. He thought, why would somebody purchase a Fog? So better I should see where Axe is lacking. And he did research, market survey. They went on in asking lots of consumers, and they figured out that consumers were not at all happy with the kind of deodorant they were purchasing, because all deodorant came up with the flimsy ad, you apply deodorant and all, girls will come up running after you, which are not practically possible. So they realized the consumers were wanting that the smell should last longing, and the spray should be more. And the Fog came up with that value proposition to the consumers, where Axe and other brands were not focusing at all. They said, you use Fog, you will get 500 sprays guaranteed. And this was what consumers were wanting. And the product became very, very successful. Till date, Fog is the number one brand in the Indian market. So this only happens when you do a deep analysis of your competitor and figure out what are the weak areas of competitor, and devise your strategy to hit on the weakest portion of the competitor. Right? Value chain analysis, very crucial. It involves that to break down the company activities and try to figure it out, how you can differentiate, how you can reduce the cost, how you can optimize your operations. Because end of the day, all these things, if it is in your control, then only it gives you a competitive advantage. Otherwise, if your value chain analysis is not proper, you might be having a good product, but you will not be able to make a profit because your cost of operation becomes very high. So this is a kind of activity which is practiced in all major companies, and on timely basis they keep on doing changes in their value chain. So when you look about this value chain, Inbound logistics, from where do you source your raw material and components and any other product required for doling out your final product? This becomes very crucial because your supplier should be reliable. He should be selling you the quality raw material, because if your raw material is not great, your end product will not be great. When McDonald's came to India, they realized that a major ingredients for the burger was not present, that is lettuce leaf. Indians didn't know how to cultivate lettuce leaf, and lettuce leaves requires a temperature of not more than 4 degree and not below 0 degree temperature to survive. So McDonald's initially sourced these products from Australia, but then they realized that no, this is not going to work in long run because the cost was going very high. So they actually taught the Indian farmers how to grow lettuce in a controlled environment. They created cold storage with that optimum temperature so that the lettuce remains intact and that coldest temperature. Plus, Indians didn't have refrigerated trucks to transfer the product from one part to other. They actually bought those trucks from foreign companies, maybe Germany or something. From there, they bought those trucks and gave to the Indian logistics people that you use our trucks to transport this lettuce leaf. They laid so much emphasis on inbound logistics. Then only McDonald's was able to come up with the burger price 20 rupees or 35 rupees. Not possible for them to actually reduce the cost by purchasing products from overseas market. Okay. Operational efficiency, I think quite self-evident that you need to have an operational efficiency for doling out the product in the right quality and right way. For example, when you look at Maruti, the largest producer of car in India, they manufacture 2.15 car per minute. That is the kind of efficiency they have attained in their operations. And still you have got backlogs. If you want to go to purchase a car right now, you will have 7 to 8 months of backlogs in spite of having this much operational efficiency. When you look at this DMRC, metro trains, the kind of efficiency they have displayed, it is quite remarkable. Look at Japanese bullet train. They never get late. That is the kind of efficiency they have been able to attain in their operations. Okay. When it comes to outbound logistics, you need to deliver the products to your retailers, to your customers, and you should have been able to control over it. If you're able to have a control over it, you become Domino's. The Domino's is able to deliver the pizza in 30 minutes. That became their USP, which none of their rivals were able to copy. You become Big Basket. You are able to deliver the product in 30 minutes. Hence, you are able to carve a niche. People feel, okay, if I need something, I will simply do a Big Basket. The product gets delivered to my house. It's only possible when you have a very robust outbound logistics system, which helps you to reduce the cost and deliver the product as per your desired value chain. Marketing and sales, of course, creating brand awareness. Brand awareness, advertising and promotions. It is quite evident that you should be using that. Okay. After sales services, customer support, I think you can relate with the example of LG, which I gave, it becomes very, very vital. Nowadays, the customer satisfaction depends a lot on after sales services. And you should be very, very careful. Companies are very, very careful that you should not be antagonizing the customer. And of course, you have that firm infrastructure, overall management, financial, legal planning aspect of the business becomes very, very crucial, especially when you look at what has happened with Adani. No, if your financial things are not great, you end up losing billions and billions of dollars of rupees. And similar thing which happened with Go Mechanic, they had to actually acknowledge that they didn't, they hiked their valuation by indulging in fraudulent figures, and now the company is in doldrums. So that also becomes very, very crucial that you follow all the legal requirements and manage your finance very well, so that don't get involved in any unethical practices which ends up pulling down your all the good efforts which the company has made. Human resource management, I think this is again very, very crucial, that you should have a talented workforce and you should be able to actually retain your employees. That is when you look at companies like Facebook and Google, which have been rated one of the best places to work, they lay a lot of emphasis on ensuring that employees remain comfortable. A lot of Indian companies are still learning that how to make their employees comfortable and ensure that they have a healthy work-life balance. But it becomes very, very crucial for the companies to know that if your employee is not happy, your customers will never be happy. So the now companies, instead of focusing on customer satisfaction or customer delight, they are now focusing on employees delight. If your employees are well contented, they know that they are getting the best, they are going to deliver the best. And last is technology development, which happens through R&D. This research and development, I think, is a very, very crucial department. If I just talk about the importance of R&D, people of Google, they don't even know where their R&D department exists. They maintain so much of secrecy. No, Apple is known for its cutting edge design only because they invest a lot in R&D. Samsung, when you look with example which I gave, a foldable phone, only because they have a robust R&D department who came up with new kind of products. So this is again a very crucial that emphasis should be paid on technology development. Resource and capacity assessment. You should be knowing that what resources can you leverage which can give you a competitive advantage. Okay, so it is something like that you should be knowing, if I use this, I will be able to grab an extra market share or increase my valuation in the market. So that comes with a lot of deliberation, a lot of spending time trying to understand the market. Then only you are able to see, okay, these are the core areas where I should be working, which is the way in which I can increase the market share. Example which I have quoted here is of Tata purchasing Indian Airlines or Tata purchasing Jaguar and Land Rover. Because when Tata purchased Indian Airlines, they realized that the Indian Airlines comes with a legacy, and the kind of routes Indian Airlines was having were quite profitable. So only thing they require to do is to make it operationally efficient, and profit will start flowing like this, which Tata is doing as of now. They're working right now. I think a matter of time before Indian Airlines start doling out profit. And when it comes to Jaguar and Land Rover, Tata was desperately trying to establish themselves in the global market. But the Indian brand, expecting European and Western countries to actually give respect to Indian brands is very difficult. And Tata struggled. They tried to launch Indica in the UK and Ireland market, but it failed miserably. Then they realized, instead of trying to push an Indian brand, why can't we acquire two established global brands, which Tata did by acquisition of Jaguar and Land Rover. And now Tata has become a global identity in terms of automobile business. So this again, it comes when you know that this, if I purchase Jaguar, if I purchase Land Rover, will it become advantage to me or will it become a liability to me? So that's homework needs to be done by the company, so which is done by business analysis. You can see the chairman Ratan Tata smiling face when he purchased this. And innovation and adaptation. This is again very, very crucial. We live in the era of disruption, and disruption is being caused by technology. In fact, a survey was done where the last 10 years, the major startups which have been grown, if you look, 95% of them have grown in the era of technology. They use technology to come up with the business. When you look at the startup value of India also, there you will find majority of the companies are related to technology. And they are doing lots of disruption when it comes with innovation, because when you disrupt the entire existing system, it becomes your competitive advantage. Okay, so when you innovate, of course, you open a new segment of consumers for yourself, where competition is very less, and you are able to charge the premium pricing which you want. Okay. 3 simple examples. I think we all witnessed the COVID era, and we realize, had Indian companies not improvised and adopted, we would not be having a homemade vaccine at such a low price. It was the best example where the companies actually use their R&D to come up with the most novel product to be able to tap the consumers, because that was the demand of that time. We needed to have a vaccine, and I think the company did a fabulous job at coming with a kind of vaccine price at low price, where the vaccines made by other countries were priced very high. Second great revolution which is happening in the field of EV, launching of EVs by the Indian companies, again a game changer, complete game changer. Nobody would have imagined that Ola would launch their EV bikes. So why is Ola doing so? Because Ola realizes this is the future. Since we are already in transportation business, why don't we launch our own product which is going to be a complete game changer? So right now we say traditionally Hero is the number one, Bajaj is the number two, and TVS is number three. Maybe next 10 years, this number one, number two, number three position might change because so many consumers will opt from a traditional fuel bike to an EV bike. And is the traditional company present in these areas or not? If you look, Honda is one company which initially said they are not going to launch EV bike in India because India is not ready for them. Within a span of 1.5 years, they had to change their entire mission area because they realize India is rapidly switching over to EV. And if Honda is not present in the EV market, the number two position or number position which they acquire with Honda Activa is going to be a kind of thing in past. So you need to always do innovation, and then only you will be competitive enough to stay in the limelight of the market. Third thing which you are seeing is a company which is providing a kind of marriages in space. No, they have got their own spaceship and they will take you for a duration of two hours or something like this, wherever you can solemnize the marriage and come back. So this is a complete disruption being offered by the companies, and you have, of course, it's not going to be a product which is going to go by masses, but then you have a substantial segment of consumers who like to take this, and it gives the company a great tactical advantage trying to corner a lion's share of the market share for them. So this is, again, it happens only when you are investing in innovation and R&D. Gaining customer insights, again, very, very vital. You need to have the customer feedback, a robust mechanism by which they can offer their insight, the way in which will help you to see whether your offering in terms of product or services is actually as per their taste or demand or not. You should know what are the areas which consumers like, what are the areas which consumer dislike, and accordingly you should be using that. Maruti, when they launched their Maruti 800, they were Japanese people, they didn't know how Indians behave. So the entire prototype of the model was being manufactured in the plants of Japan. So what they did to try to gain the difficulties of Indian people in sitting, especially with the Indian females wearing sari, what they did, they flew 40 of the employees, female employees of Maruti, to Japan workshop where the car was being made, so that the engineers would actually see that if an Indian female is wearing sari, is she facing any difficulty in sitting and getting out of the car? And accordingly, they made changes in the design of the car so that by wearing sari also you can sit comfortably in the car. This is a kind of meticulous planning companies do in trying to make consumers be happy when they use the product. Netflix, if you look, recent example, they use consumer insight to modify their content. This is one way by which you can tailor-make the offer as per the requirement of the consumers. Cost efficiency again becomes very, very crucial. You need to control cost, come what may, because if you control cost, it becomes your tactical advantage. Okay, so you should be able to know what kind of market is there, how you can be able to link your strategy to improvise on your strength, tap on the opportunities, and develop a strategic plan for that. When you look at this picture where you see a guy standing with robots, this is a warehouse photo of the warehouse of Amazon, where you started using robots instead of manual people doing the work, because robots help them control the cost. Robots don't want any kind of pay hike, they don't want any kind of food or lunch break, and they don't get tired. And this is the kind of change which has started in a very small space, but it's going to get forward because companies realize I need to cut cost, I need to remove humans. So this is just one way by which a company thinks of cutting cost. Outsourcing another way by which, if you know that this is not my core area, give it to a specialist, let him do the work. He will do the better work at a lesser cost to us. This is one backbone by which our Indian companies, Indian IT companies are working. Lots of jobs are being outsourced to them. Okay, so this helps you to control the cost, and if you are able to control the cost, of course, your efficiency is going to increase. Continuous improvement. You should not take a laid-back attitude. Always keep on monitoring your performance. Identify where my performance is going down. How should I increase my performance? How should I make customers more excited? Let the customer feel the buzz. They should feel the vibrancy in our business. If that vibrancy is missing, you tend to become a kind of obsolete. So when you look at Maruti was doing very well in hatchback, and now they have moved to SUVs. Because they realized SUV was one area where Maruti presence was very negligible and all their rivals were having a great presence in the SUV business. So now Maruti has modified, improvised and launched their SUVs in the Indian market, and they're doing great. Okay, Google working on a driverless car. This is a complete new kind of disruption which Google and Tesla and other companies are planning. Because if driverless cars are being launched, it is going to be, and if they prove to be quite safe and meeting all the safety standards, it is going to be a complete game changer. It will change the entire transportation industry of the globe. And Google might become one of the big automobile manufacturer in the world if this particular design becomes successful, because people are pissed off with the driver. No negotiation, no hassle, no harassment, no hassles. Simply book the car on the app, the car will come to your doorstep, sit, feed the destination, car will drop you. Human involvement will not be there. That is a complete disruption. The last photo which you see is a gyrocopter already being done on a trial basis in Dubai, where, as you can see, a modified version of helicopter. So it is going to be kind of personal helicopter which everybody can have in the near future. Companies are planning on this. Or this can be used as taxis also. So imagining you want to travel from one place to other, simply book an app and a helicopter comes hovering around your roof. You simply hop onto it. So instead of wasting 1 hour traveling on the road, you reach the destination in next 20 minutes. This is going to complete change the way in which people commute from one place to other. This only happens when the companies keep on innovating, evolving, seeing the gap areas and launching their product in those gaps areas. So in a nutshell, I will say that business analysis basically, deals about consistently soul searching, trying to identify what are the areas where I can gain an edge over my rival. Okay. So you keep on identifying those areas, keep on developing the product, and make tactical decisions which can ensure that you are successful in long term. Strategy can be short term also, long term also. But when you look at the companies, they keep on improvising their strategy as per the demand of the market situation. The business analysis helps you to keep on improvising your strategy. Because situation, there are certain things which you control, there are certain things which you don't control. If political situation changes, new product has come in the market, a new company has come, a new technology has come, the company needs to adapt to it. If you are not able to adopt, you need to exit the business. When Jio came into the market, Tata Teleservices had to exit the business. They couldn't adopt. We know how Vodafone is struggling to survive. You're not able to adapt to the given situation, you lose your tactical advantage. So in a nutshell, you can say that business analysis is the stepping stone for making a company competitively advantageous. Thank you.
Well, Dr. Anuj Verma, what should I say about this presentation? However, before I actually move on to Dr. Anuj Verma's presentation, I'm very humbled by my introduction that was given by ma'am. Sorry, I missed out on your name, ma'am. Thank you very much.
Welcome, ma'am. You deserve it.
Thank you very much, ma'am. And at the onset, I also would like to extend a warm word of gratitude to Dr. Praveen Joshi, Director, Prerana College, Dr. S.C. Gulhane, Secretary, Prerana Seva Mandal. Thank you very much for having Dr. Anuj and I on board. And it really means a lot to be able to share our thoughts, our processes, our inputs with someone who is like-minded, someone who belongs to the same field. Thank you very much. Talking about Dr. Anuj Verma, Dr. Anuj Verma is first my colleague and a very good friend, and we have known for each other for many years now. So while Dr. Anuj Verma was giving his presentation, I was trying to note down points, and I realized that he has surpassed all the explanations that I wanted to give. However, I have concised his points and I have few ideas to share. If ma'am, with your permission, if I could share my screen. Sorry, I think you're on mute.
Yes, ma'am, you can.
Thank you very much. I hope my screen is visible.
Yes, ma'am. It is visible. You can present, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you very much. And I am Dr. Meenakshi Verma. I have actually tried to concise all the points given by Dr. Anuj Verma in 4 points. So his huge presentation concised into 4 points. So Dr. Anuj Verma fundamentally spoke about competitive advantage and very well spoken about competitive advantage in terms of cost leadership, differentiation, defensive strategies, strategic alliance. And towards the end, he beautifully concluded his presentation about business analysis in the form of red ocean and blue ocean. So to just have a quick look, a cost leader in terms of Dr. Anuj Verma would be an organization, an individual who's a leader in cost. So one, we follow the one who has the least price. So in a market, any product that is offered to me at a lesser price becomes my cost leader. Again, he is my source of competitive advantage because probably I'm the only individual or I'm the only organization who's offering this product at a less price. So yes, we spoke about Tata Nano. However, all of us know Tata Nano was the first car that came up into picture, which was marketed as the cheapest car. So what happened was, this was basically Ratan Tata's dream to have a car that was affordable to everyone. So what Ratan Tata did was he manufactured the car. The car sold very well, but in due course of time, the word cheap started being associated with this Tata Nano so deeply that the product could not sell. We are talking about a nation, India, wherein we associate our brand image, my image, with the kind of car I drive in. I associate my social status with the kind of car I drive in. So this strategy of cost leader unfortunately did not work for Tata Nano. However, we have a very successful strategist here, Akshay Kumar. All of us know that every movie to make a 30 full screen movie will take about 1 year, 9-10 months. But what Akshay Kumar does is very strategically, he acts as a cost leader. That does not mean he does not pay his co-stars or co-actors. He is able to finish his movie in a span of 3 months, which obviously helps in reduction of the cost for the process. Okay, so that's a cost leader in the lines of Dr. Anuj Verma. Second, Dr. Anuj Verma spoke about was differentiation. Competitive advantage on the basis of differentiation. So when I say differentiation, it simply means how different I am from the others in the market, or what is it that is making me different from the rest of my competitors. Okay, so here we can speak about Kalyan Jewellers. Now, very smartly, Kalyan Jewellers took Amitabh Bachchan, Aishwarya Rai as their brand ambassadors, very smartly. because Kalyan Jewellers didn't want itself to be marketed like any other jewelry store, which we have plenty in India. So what Kalyan Jewellers did was it started to associate itself with a successful modern Bollywood family who has a very positive image in our society. The Bachchan family, the Bachchan Parivar, as we say. Okay. The next in line is differentiation in terms of Tata EV. Now, this is a very interesting case study. I'm sure all of us are aware that lithium mines were discovered in Jammu and Kashmir. I think this year in the month of January or February, I'm sorry, I'm not correct with the dates. I'm not very specific with the dates. So Tata EV, the price of Tata EV probably will go down because initially Tata used to import its batteries, the raw materials to manufacture its batteries. But thankfully, India has now its own mines. So that is a differentiation now. Again, that is a competitive advantage for Tata EV. Moving on to the next competitive advantage strategy, defensive strategy. Okay, Dr. Anuj Verma beautifully spoke about this. I want to talk about KFC. Dr. Anuj Verma spoke about McDonald's. What happened was when KFC launched itself in India, it was a KFC chicken burger. Now all of us know it is chicken. It is non-veg. When they launched themselves in India, they realized that 60% of Indians are still vegetarian. So if I'm traveling to KFC with my family of 5, probably 3 of them are vegetarian, only 2 of them are non-vegetarian. So to take care of this error, what KFC did was successfully launched its Zinger Veg. Okay, so if I am a vegetarian, I am traveling with my family, visiting my family with KFC, I can successfully happily sit with them and have a happy meal, veg and non-veg. Pepsi Foods. Now, if we have seen Pepsi Foods, the Pepsi chips, okay, the Lay's chips, the size of every Lay's chip is of the same size. So if you open a 5 rupees packet, you will see 3 chips of same size plus 2 chips of medium size or another 2 chips of small size. The size of each chip in a 5 rupee packet, 10 rupee packet, 20 rupees packet, 70 rupees packet is same. And how does an Indian farmer guarantee you the same size, thickness, and the radius of the chip? This has a beautiful story, wherein what Pepsi has done as a defensive strategy is it has taken a backward integration. So what Pepsi has done is it has actually trained the farmers to produce potatoes of same size, same radius, same diameter to satisfy their chips requirement. Okay, Pepsi has taken all the efforts. Speaking about the fourth strategy Dr. Anuj Verma mentioned was strategic alliance. And what best example can be other than Flipkart and Walmart? Okay, so when we speak about Flipkart and Walmart, their merger, Flipkart is actually, or all of us know that it is an e-commerce company. I could sit anywhere in the world and access Flipkart. Whereas Walmart is an organization, or it is a retail outlet which has brick and mortar stores. Okay, so what a wonderful alliance! An e-commerce company signing up with a brick and mortar company. What a wonderful strategic alliance, and what a wonderful thought, and what an intelligent foresightedness of these two companies to come together and prove their strategic alliance. So that's all that I wanted to speak Dr. Anuj Verma's session in brief. And if there are any doubts, we are open for this. We are open for the doubts.
Thank you, ma'am. Participants, if you have any doubts, any queries, you can ask them. Both are available there. Any queries, any doubts? Shall we proceed? Thank you so much, sir, for such a wonderful session. You have systematically explained about analysis, business analysis, and competitive advantage in new normal. It is going to be very beneficial for students and faculties as well. With the help of example, you have explained very well. Thank you very much, sir, for such an informative session. Thank you so much, ma'am, for summarizing this session in such a lucid manner. We look forward to put the techniques that we have learned today into practice. Again, I would like to request all the faculty members and participants, if you have any queries, you can ask. Okay. Once again, I express my sincerest thanks to Dr. Anuj Verma, Dr. Meenakshi Verma for enlightening and sharing your valuable knowledge with us. We are greatly encouraged by your gracious presence, and I am sure that your talk will immensely benefit all of us. We are excited to learn from you in future too. Thank you so much, sir and ma'am, for such a wonderful session. Now I extend it. Yes.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir. Now I extended my sincerest thanks to Honorable Professor R.C. Gulhane, President of Prerna Seva Mandal, respected Dr. S.C. Gulhane, Secretary of Prerna Mandal, Dr. Praveen Joshi, Director of Dr. S.C. Gulhane, Prerna College of Commerce, Science and Arts, for supporting us and giving us an opportunity to being a part of this conference. I am also thankful to Abhilasha Gurde ma'am. I must mention our deep sense of appreciation to officiating principal Dr. Riladhar Revatkar, program convener, for their continuous motivation and guidance. I also mention our deep sense of appreciation to our Ashish Gupta sir, HOD of Commerce Department, for his support. At last, I think all of making this program a resounding success. Thank you all. We will meet again tomorrow on the same time. Till then, have a nice day and take care. Namaste.